What it do, what it do, how y'all feeling? Welcome, this is Ash Neil's Radio. I am your host, Ash Neil. That is I, so we talking to y'all. Yes, as you can see, the title, Israeli conflict with Iran, is getting out of hand, you guys. It's getting out of hand, and one thing just happened, America joined forces. Yes, officially. First, we were there as like a deterrent. Like, we were just going to help get bombs out the sky and shit. Now they're playing the same game that they played with California. Talking about, we have federal property. We got to protect it. Yep. So now we have troops on the way to Israel to help out with this conflict. And there's a lot of people that are obviously against it, even on the right. Even some of the MAGA supporters, they're not with it. But Trump, he is real bold. And he is saying shit that only your American hubris would allow you to get away with. And I don't think he understands the danger behind what he's saying.
Good evening. We begin tonight with President Trump late today spending more than an hour in the Situation Room with his national security team. President Trump has called for Iran's unconditional surrender amid this growing conflict with Israel. The president saying the U.S. knows where Iran's supreme leader is hiding, but that he doesn't want him to be killed, quote, for now. Members of the president's national security team seen leaving the White House after that meeting this afternoon in the Situation Room. The president returning abruptly last night from the G7 summit in Canada so he could, according to the White House, attend to many important matters. President Trump posted a warning to the 10 million people of Iran's capital saying, quote, everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran with no further explanation. Traffic you can see right there backed up for miles. Tonight, the two sides continuing to trade attacks, Israel releasing video of what they say is their pilots tracking mobile missile launchers through the streets of Iran, taking them out. And tonight, Iran sending missiles just moments ago into Israel. There are growing questions at this hour. What is President Trump, what is the U.S. now considering? ABC's chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce leading us off tonight.
Tonight, as Israeli missiles find their targets in Iran, President Trump with this demand to the Iranian regime, unconditional surrender. Adding this threat, we know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We are not going to take him out, kill, at least not for now, saying our patience is wearing thin. Trump has been urging Iran to negotiate a nuclear deal, but now...
They should have done the deal. I told them do the deal. So I don't know, I'm not too much in a mood to negotiate.
Look at him.
Tonight, Iran's supreme leader posting ominously.
Think about this. Trump just told him. Now, it looked like the way he was hanging on that door of the plane, like he in a hurry to get somewhere. He just left the G7 abruptly, right out of nowhere. He was supposed to leave today after all these other meetings took place, but he left yesterday. And he had to hurry up and get back to the Situation Room so he could talk about what we now know is this Iran conflict being escalated by us. But what he said was, we know where you're at. You should surrender. Now, I just made a video about the beginning of this whole conflict. I thought it was, Iran was a few weeks away from making a nuclear bomb. And I think that started like 30 years ago. And so the preemptive attack was to damage their nuclear facilities, right? As we now know, it wasn't their nuclear facility, it was their oil refinery. But right now, Trump just said that, nope, we want more. We want them to surrender, a total surrender, and a regime change. This is dangerous.
The battle begins as Iranian missiles continue to fall on Israel. Our Ian Pannell in Tel Aviv.
We just heard the first sound there of an intercept, so we're going to have to disappear. But this is another round of Iranian strikes on Israel.
The Iranian army's commander saying the operations carried out so far have merely been warnings for deterrence, and a punitive operation will be executed soon. Israel releasing this video claiming to show Israeli fighter jets tracking Iranian mobile missile launchers through the streets of Tehran before blowing them up. In Tehran, terrified residents racing to escape. Traffic gridlocked and long gas lines after Trump posted this warning, saying everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran with no further explanation. The president today meeting with his national security team in the Situation Room as Israel ups the pressure on the U.S. to intervene militarily to destroy Iran's nuclear program. Only the U.S. has the 30,000-pound bomb.
Even that. Why is Israel pressuring us? Israel is pressuring us to use our weapons, our bunker-busting weapons. Come on, America, use your weapons. We need to fight this evil enemy of ours. That's what they like to say. Now, mind you, y'all, I'm 40 years old. Don't mind me. I'm trying to do some things live. I'm 40 years old, so I was a kid when the Iraq War happened. And we heard, a lot of the anti-war, all the anti-war supporters, they were big on that war being bullshit and mainly about oil, right? And, I was a kid. I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. What you mean, oil? The hell we fighting over oil? People about to go to war over oil. And, it turns out that it was about oil and not, or a little bit more than oil, but it wasn't about the weapons of mass destruction that Israel said that it was. Mind you, now, today, we know that it was Israel who got us into that war. And they're doing it all over again. So, we're watching. We're not our parents. You know what I mean? We know that our tax dollars is going to this war, and we don't have it. We can't afford it. And it seems like the left and the right is on the same accord when it comes down to funding this war. So you're going to have a hard time, Trump and all your buddies in the administration, trying to spin this as a positive thing for America.
Bunker buster bomb capable of reaching Iran's deeply buried nuclear site. Trump now weighing his options, saying he's looking for something, quote, better than a ceasefire.
What specifically is better than a ceasefire? What are you looking for here?
An end. A real end, not a ceasefire. An end.
So something that would be permanent.
Or,
end.
or
He wants an end.
giving up entirely. Is
Giving
that
up
okay?
entirely.
All right, so let's get right to Mary Bruce. She's live at the White House tonight. Mary, tonight, obviously, Israel targeting Iran. Iran now retaliating at this hour. The big question this evening with what President Trump said about the supreme leader. And
Retaliating. Remember that word, retaliate.
Tehran to evacuate.
Israel started
the
this
obvious
shit.
question, if and when the U.S. could play a more direct role in this conflict.
And David, as we are seeing these images of Israeli strikes in Iran, I've just learned that President Trump spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu earlier today as the U.S. military is already moving warplanes and assets to the region, if needed, to defend American personnel. And that big question now weighing on the president tonight, whether to push for negotiations or join Israel's campaign and bomb Iran. David.
Mary Bruce, who will be following this into the evening here. Mary, thank you.
And that's what we're saying. Now, we know that he is. Oh, sorry about that. We know that he's doing it, right? That's what he said. He's going to bomb Iran. He's joining forces to bomb Iran, right? And it seems like there's nothing we can do about it, right? Who the fuck are we? We're just taxpayers. We have no control over none of this. But what is noticeable is the propaganda by the media. Even on X, you're sitting there, you're trying to look at the conflict, see what's going on, and X is shielding you from a lot of it as well. But you have a lot of people that are trying to have a debate about this, right? They're trying to have some kind of nuanced conversation, and even those accounts are getting flagged. But there's this one debate that is going on right now that I kind of want to join in, but for some reason, they won't let me in. And it's another right wing Israeli, but this guy's Israeli.
You're occupying. It's not even because of the religion. It's not.
And they're talking about the conflict that's going on, obviously. But his channel seems to be getting more traction than anybody else's. And it's starting to look like there's a reason behind it. So when you think about propaganda and framing, social media was probably the worst thing for some of these Western propagandists, right? Even Grok. If you go on X and you ask Grok some of these questions, Grok would disagree with a lot of the right and Israel and a lot of these pro-Israeli fucking channels. And they would air them out and tell the truth. And it seems like the narrative is falling apart. So they're sending out their little trolls to basically have these debates with people with not that much education on the topic, and then they can make it look like pro-Palestinian people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So we're gonna check the debate out for a second and see. And I'm trying to get in. I've been trying to get in for like 30 minutes now. I'm trying to get in the debate. I want to do it later.
Who said it's legal? Who said it was legal?
By the international community, by
The land, you took it.
what do you mean?
You're telling me about the international community. I'm telling you about. I'm talking about the people there, bro.
So who did we buy the land from? From people.
You didn't buy it from the Palestinians,
We,
bro.
we bought it from
Yeah.
Arab owners, some Arab owners that
Yeah.
lived in Lebanon, and the land was neglected.
You
They
bought
just sold it for money.
lies. Wrong. That's a lie.
It was
They
neglected.
didn't buy
just
it.
sold
That's the
for
dispute.
money.
No, that's a lie. The Belfort
Guys, there's
Agreement
testimonies
that
of
was
everyone.
drafted in
I don't
1917
know too much.
basically stated that they wanted a homeland for Jewish people in the land of Palestine, right? Well, with that agreement, Palestine was supposed to get something too, because we know who was the powers that be, right? Great Britain was the people pulling the strings, right? Well, since Great Britain didn't fulfill the promises that they were supposed to give the Palestinians, the 80% of the West Bank and all the territory from, because back then, mind you, this was 1917. Most of southern Israel wasn't even taken over yet. So the Belfort Agreement was basically saying, hey, we want to have some of this land for the Jewish state, for Jewish people. But that doesn't mean that the land wasn't there. And a lot of these pro-Israeli people, they act like the land was never there. It was never Palestine. It never existed. And it's funny because even the fucking shit that allows them the right to that place, that little Belfort Agreement, stated that it was Palestinian territory first.
About the history, but I know like the basics, you know.
But hold on. Let me ask you another question. So assume there's a Native American, okay? You're from Canada,
Okay.
right? Assume there's a Native American, and the Native American gets kicked out of America by Europeans, okay? And then that Native American lives in Europe for 3,000 years, only marries Native Americans, only brings to the world Native American children, only practices Native American culture.
Hold on.
And then he tries to go back to America. Is he a colonizer?
Yeah, 3,000 years has passed, bro. It's over.
So a Native American that's been living in diaspora for 3,000 years and has been practicing
Oh my God, that shit don't make no sense. That makes no sense. That's like saying, because what they're saying is Jews are indigenous to the land of Palestine. Well, so are the Palestinians. The Canaanites were there first, right? If you really want to
So
talk
a Native
about
American that's been living in diaspora for 3,000
But-
years and has been practicing Native American culture and has been bringing Native American children and
Hold
and
on.
has been marrying Native American wives. For 3,000
But
years,
the-
he's considered to
But
be
the
a
land was
European
taken,
colonizer.
right? The land was taken. It was over,
It
right?
do-
3,000 years,
it
you were
does-
gone.
It doesn't matter.
Long
It
story
doesn't
short, they
matter.
would be
If a
coming
Native
back
American was
to a
displaced
land
for
full of Native
3,000 years and
American,
kept
not in a
practicing
land
his
full of
cultures,
white
traditions, he's
Native
still indigenous
Americans.
to the land, just like a Jew is after a Jew is
No,
after 3,000
he
years.
might be from that land originally, but that land is not. It's not his land.
Yeah, but those Jews that came and took over the land.
These were
They're not a part of the Jews that were already
They
there. I know
weren't
there
a
were
part
Jews
of
that
the
were already
Jews that
there.
were-
Jews
Exactly,
are one
the Brooklyn
tribe.
Jews.
The Jews in Europe, the Jews in
Nah,
Morocco,
nah,
the Jews in Tunisia,
wrong.
the Jews in Iraq. They have all been practicing Judaism exactly the same.
That
They have all been.
I know,
praying
but
towards
what I'm
Jerusalem.
that's
saying
why
is
they
the
don't
Jews
allow
from Germany,
DNA tests.
They all came and took over the land.
But
You know what I mean?
Jews didn't come only from Germany. They also came from different places like Iraq.
Stop it, bro.
And
We're
each-
talking
The
about
majority,
these
majority.
I
these
understand what you're
Zionist
saying.
Jews that were exiled out of Germany. No, these are white Jews. Sorry. You guys aren't the ones that were there for thousands of years. No. That's why you guys don't allow DNA testing in Israel, because it would show that your lineage doesn't date back nowhere but New Jersey. And they know it. It's just colonization. They have been kicked out of 108 countries. Mind you, Jerusalem was that country a couple times, right? But to sit there and say that the people that were there who kicked you out weren't there and they don't have rights to the land, mind you, we're talking about the Bible times. This is what they're fighting for. They're talking about the Bible time. Oh no, my people were there back in biblical times. Our people, that was our land. Bro, really? That's what the fuck we're fighting over? This is a biblical war, you guys. And the way these people talk is as if everybody subscribes to that book. And we don't. All we see is you killing a whole bunch of innocent men, women, and children for the sake of playing out the end of days. It ain't working, bro.
Almost
Here,
a million Jews.
like that, they only
almost a
married their own
They
people.
won't let me
They've
in.
only
They
done
won't
their
let
own
me
thing.
in. I think I
I
gotta
understand
go
what you're saying,
Twitch
bro,
or something.
but after that amount of time has passed, you can't just go back and then occupy the land and
Why?
then kill the people.
First of all, it's not
He said
occupying.
why?
It's reclaiming the land that was yours, that was given to you by God.
Oh.
By the way, we also purchased the land that was given to us by God, so that's a different topic. But if the Arabs would not have started a war against the Jews in 1948, nobody would have to be displaced.
The
But they
Arabs
decided to
started
do
a
so. They
war with
told
the
Arab
Jews in
people in the
1940.
land,
Hold on.
leave, so we ethnically
on,
cleanse the
Mike.
Jews, and once we do that, you can come back. But they lost the war, and then people are crying about it until today. The
That's
Nakba
not what
is not the
happened.
disaster of the Arabs leaving; it's the disaster of
No,
not winning the Jews. of
sorry.
not
The Belford
ethnically
Agreement
cleansing the
was
Jews.
drafted in
That's the real definition of
1917,
Nakba.
right? 50 years after that, 1948 or 1947. It was like a free-for-all in Palestine. There was literally no owner on paper, according to... That's how these people think, these Westerners. They feel like if Britain or Western powers don't declare you a state, or there's nothing drafted that calls your region a legitimate state, then you never existed. That's how they think. And 50 years after that Belford Agreement was drafted, 1947, that's where a lot of shit was going on in Germany with these group of people, right? We know about Hitler and all that. We get it, right? But when it comes down to why these people were kicked out of all these other places, mind you, they've been kicked out of 108 countries, the Jewish folks. The way that they think that Palestine is the place that they have to be, it's almost like one of those. I think narcissism is not a word that does it justice, because they're brazen with it and they think the people that live there don't belong there. But they don't even like the brown Jews that live there. They don't even respect the Israelites that claim that land. No, they believe that only the Jews that were exiled from Germany during the Holocaust are the Jews that have the right to Palestine. That's how these motherfuckers think. And you got other Jews from Ethiopia like, hey, bro, what about me? I practice Judaism like this bum said. Oh, we're everywhere. No, y'all don't care about other Jews. Mind you, Ethiopian women, before they were allowed citizenship in Israel, they were sterile on purpose.
Well,
Listen to these people.
let me ask you this question,
get a
bro,
couple more
because we've been
minutes.
talking about this for a minute. Let me ask you about you. So you live in you born and raised Israel?
Born and raised in Israel. Yes.
Okay. So how long have you been doing like the online stuff for?
2 years.
2 years? 2 years? How's that been going for you, bro?
It's been going pretty good. I've been getting a lot of messages from Muslims around the world, from Christians around the world, from Hindus around the world, telling me that you know, the stuff that I do help them change their minds. So
Well, let me ask you this, bro. Do you think there will ever you guys will ever be able to get to like a peaceful resolution?
I don't think that we are the problem in the equation. That's my stance. I think the problem in the equation is the Palestinian side. It's the people that live in Gaza and want to see my country destroyed. If you tell me right now that the Palestinians will say, listen, we are dropping our weapons, we are no longer attacking you for eternity, and it's a promise, Israel will finally have peace. Israel is willing to do concessions.
Nobody believes
like
that.
no other country for peace.
Nobody believes that.
They gave back the Sinai Peninsula back for peace, almost doubling the size of Israel. They gave it for peace. A place full of oil and great infrastructure. They give it back for peace. Israel offered to give back the Golan Heights for peace. So if you are telling me that you are giving us peace for eternity, that nobody has to die for the resistance and for terrorism, then yes, we will have peace. But we are not.
So
the problem. They are the problem.
do you know why there's a resistance? Do you know why there's a resistance?
I
Do
don't
you know
consider
why?
it resistance. I consider them terrorists.
That
So do you know why
Exactly.
there's Hamas?
Hamas, yes, because they want to fight the Jews away from this land so Islam can prevail and an Islamic Khalifa can be built.
no, stupid.
Okay, so
So what about the people that were there?
so you know why there's a resistance, right? You know why there's a resistance? They're trying to huh? I think I do.
I got one.
Yeah, so you know why there's a resistance, right?
So you think
So
you think
imagine I
resisting,
come to Israel, right?
you think-
Imagine I come to Israel.
you think resisting is raping girls and burning people?
That didn't
and
happen.
Beheading people? You
Stop
think that's
lying. That didn't
resistance?
happen.
But you guys have done much worse.
We
You guys have done much worse.
We haven't done anything worse. That's
You
what they
guys
did.
have done much
That's
worse,
That's what they did
bro.
on
Trust
October.
me.
That's what they did
See,
on October.
and I
7th.
believe that.
And that's I don't know.
'cause
I
had
don't know
got
about
into an
burning people.
argument
I don't know if that's
with a Jew out here, and I was basically telling them like, bro, you guys are the ones that did this. There's footage of the IDF raping a Palestinian prisoner, a guy, doing God knows what behind a banner, and then the guy was the IDF soldier. They were arrested. It was like a few of them that got caught up in the situation, and then the whole Jewish community started to rally because they were arresting the IDF soldier for raping somebody. The Israeli community was mad that the IDF soldier was being held accountable for doing what they did to that Palestinian. And in this guy's head, he's like, no, we don't do that. No, that don't happen. That don't happen. No. The world can see, bro. Like, we're all watching. What these people, this is why I want to debate somebody on this conflict. Because nobody want to bring up the fact that there was over 250 to 300 Palestinians that were murdered by the IDF in 2023 alone prior to October 7th. So when this guy asked him, do you know why there's a resistance? And this motherfucker said, I don't think there's no such thing as resistance. They're all terrorists. Ask this motherfucker. So do you not value Palestinian lives? Because before October 7th, the IDF killed, and plus settlers, it was a mixture between the settlers and IDF, they killed over 350 or 250 to 300 Palestinians. And when they wrote all these letters to the UN and the Palestinian Authority and all of them, those letters were going on deaf ears. The UN even wrote a statement saying that 2023 was the biggest death toll for Palestinians on record, and everybody ignored them. So yes, the only people who didn't ignore them were Hamas. So they became a resistance fighter. Since you don't want to look at Palestinians as a people, hey, October 7th happened.
Right.
I wish I could show you, but I can't.
They just came. They killed a couple of people with guns, and then they took captives. I don't know about the burning people stuff.
So
you guys have done burning people. You guys have buried people alive.
I'm saying, look,
So-
I can't verify this or that, bro. And we're gonna get nowhere.
You can call
singing
my
that
channel
shit back and
garbage
forth,
if you want to. Thank you for the good wishes, though. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. Prove me wrong. How would you like to debate? We could have a whole debate on this topic. I'll bring you up right here. We can talk about it if you know more than me.
Phone. And I can send you the
Can
link.
I see it? Because I don't think that's true.
But I'm telling you, it's true. Almost
What?
1,200.
Tell me.
I can't believe you. I have to know the facts.
Can you say the link out?
You
Put it
don't
in your
believe
phone, bro.
shit coming out of
Put it
these
in
bums'
Let him show
mouth.
us, bro.
Oh, you're gonna show it us over here.
I can't show you. I can't show you.
You're seeing you're
Okay,
live right now.
like where is the information coming from?
The information is footage taken by Hamas on October 7th. They had GoPros and they filmed everything.
Hamas had GoPros.
Hamas had GoPros and they filmed everything. Yes. Can you
Yeah,
can you do me a
I
favor?
don't-
Can you do me a favor and look up a group on Telegram called October 7th Massacre on Telegram?
I don't
Yeah.
have Telegram, bro.
We ain't got
You don't
Telegram.
have Telegram?
bro.
Do you have Telegram, brother?
I don't
Yeah.
have Telegram at all.
So
No, we don't really use Telegram out here, bro.
So
Ah.
there is this is I'm just showing you from here. This is
He
all
tried
of the
it.
proof that happened on October 7th. I can't stop because this stream will
Your
be.
screen's just white, bro. You're on the files.
You're what?
It's on the files.
I
It's
know,
just
I know.
white.
Nobody
I can't show you the real
cares,
stuff
bro.
because then I'll
Nobody
get-
gives
I'll
a
get banned.
shit. They're gonna
But
keep on
this
trying
is-
with this
This
October
is all of the
7th shit.
footage.
Nobody gives a
This is
fuck.
all of the footage from October 7th.
So
taken
what?
by Hamas.
So what?
All of it.
So what? So what? How many people? Look,
Yeah.
I want to hear him say it. Hamas came over,
yo,
killed 1,200
bro, I
people.
don't know. You're gonna see this side, that side, this, that.
Anyways,
care.
like those, like whatever happened, right?
happened.
So,
Right.
but you guys have done like much. You guys did like
No,
quadruple
let me,
that.
bro. Let me. I wanna ask you, bro. Like, I wanna know you personally what you think, right?
That's what I
Because
want to know too.
as you see, bro,
I disagree
I'm
with you.
Canadian. Huh?
I disagree with you that we've done much worse. What Israel has done is in exact according to international law by releasing leaflets and warning civilians and telling them to leave before a
Oh,
bomb comes.
fuck.
That's going according to international law. No terrorist came to
Oh,
us on October
fuck.
7th and did Allahu Akbar in 3 minutes. Nobody did that. They just killed us. They
Oh,
slaughtered us. They
That's that shit I'm talking about. These motherfuckers really, they live in a whole nother world, y'all. There's some people out there that would say, oh, Iran is not bombing Israel. All of those missiles are getting intercepted. It's crazy, bro. You can literally tell them, hey, man, calm down. Don't bomb Iran. They're going to respond. And then Iran responds. And then they say, that didn't happen. Fake news. You're lying. I'm in Tel Aviv right now. There ain't no bombs going on. Bruh. There's no reasoning with these people. And I'm over it. I wouldn't even try to reason with these dumbasses because it really don't matter. But yeah, we got footage because even CNN had to come out and say that yes, Iran is bombing Tel Aviv.
Round of missile strikes launched by Iran. Israel's National Emergency Service says multiple locations were hit on Monday morning. Explosions were seen in the coastal city of Haifa, where missiles hit near an oil refinery. Central Israel's power grid was also damaged in the latest of the back and forth strikes over the weekend. Israeli officials say at least 23 people have now been killed since Iran's retaliation began. Meanwhile, in Iran, at least
23 people have died in Israel due to Iran responding. Okay, so dumbasses that claim to be in Tel Aviv, are you like so deep in your bomb shelter you don't give a fuck about what's going on up there on the floor? You don't know that Tel Aviv is on fire? You didn't know that 24 people lost their lives? Like, y'all live in a bubble for real, and I think it's a bomb shelter, bro. For real.
At least 224 people have been killed in Israeli airstrikes since Friday. That's according to the country's Ministry of Health. The IDF vows their strikes will only get more intense from here. But Iran's president says the country's response will escalate as well, putting more innocent lives at risk.
Israel knows no boundaries. They intrude wherever they want with permission from America. We are by no means seeking to expand the war, but naturally, as our army, our powerful IRGC, and our dear people have shown, appropriate responses have been given so far. The more they try to escalate, naturally, the responses will become tougher and more severe. More innocent people may lose their lives.
There you go.
Jeremy Diamond was at the scene of one missile.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? They just kept it 100. Like, hey, y'all keep on aggressively advancing and threatening and talking about you're gonna bomb our nuclear sites and take out our leader and all of that. This is what they're saying, like, openly. Trump even said, "Oh, we're gonna kill your leader." But we have pieces of shit like Benjamin Netanyahu claiming that, oh, Iran was behind the Trump's assassination attempts. They say it. This is how they say it. Oh, y'all should be worried. Iran was behind the assassination attempt, and they want death to America and your president. But our president want them dead. I'm trying to understand the white Western logic. Like, what? We're the only ones that can make these kind of threats? Like, it's crazy. Because to them, they look at it as an act of war. Like, damn, Trump, what you mean you know where I'm at? Like, nigga, like, what? Why would you say that? Why would you say that? But if somebody said that about one of our leaders, oh yeah, shit. Get the troops. Get the troops.
Strike in Tel Aviv and filed this report just a short while ago.
I'm at the site of an Iranian ballistic missile attack in central Tel Aviv. This ballistic missile struck this area in the early hours of this morning, severely damaging 3 residential buildings right behind me. As you can see, in this whole street is littered with debris as rescue crews move in and out, still trying to assess the damage, to find anybody who might be trapped under the rubble, and also to get people out of their apartments. There are also folks who have arrived here to try and get back inside to get some of their belongings and to make sure that their loved ones are okay. This is one of 4 ballistic missile attack sites in central Tel Aviv alone. In addition, there was a ballistic missile attack in northern Israel, in Haifa as well. More than 70 people were injured in these attacks, according to Magen David Adom, Israel's national rescue services. And of course, we are seeing that these attacks are continuing to escalate, and concern is rising here in Israel about the number of casualties and how many more may come. Jeremy Diamond, CNN, Tel Aviv.
See?
Let's dig deeper.
How many
Israel
more?
About the number
how
of
many
casualties.
more is gonna happen? Oh wait, I thought it wasn't happening. That's what I heard. I heard that nothing was coming to Israel. All of Iran bombs were intercepted. That's what we keep hearing. It's the craziest shit. It's the craziest shit that you can ever hear from a lot of these people, because everybody's saying it. Now, another thing that Benjamin Netanyahu want to stress is that, which is a contradiction as well, they say, oh, Israel's not being bombed, but we have to take out some of these missiles because they're coming in, and Iran is a terrorist state and they're killing women and children. Bro, this is what they say out of both sides of their mouth. One, they're not hitting. Two, they're hitting women and children. Bro, this shit gets on my fucking nerves. And they're trying to make the case that, hey, America, please, send me your troops, send me your weapons. Because look, Iran is committing war crimes. They're hitting neighborhoods where women and children are at. We all know what's been going on in Gaza for over a year and a half, almost 2 years now. The number one thing we've been saying was, dog, why are you killing all these women and children? Right? But yes, the IDF is claiming that Iran is killing women and children and it's a war crime, right? So, I want you to see this video of a news station being bombed in Iran live as this woman is conducting her segment. Israeli bombs blow up the place. Hold up. This is crazy.
که شنیدید صدای متجاوز به خاک وطن، صدای متجاوز به صدای حق و حقیقت است. آنچه که ملاحظه کردید، صدایی که شنیدید، فضای غبارآلوده استدیو که شنیدید صدای متجاوز به خاک وطن، صدای متجاوز به صدای حق و حقیقت است. آنچه که ملاحظه کردید، صدایی که شنیدید، فضای غبارآلوده استدیو
It's crazy. It's the craziest shit. Think about that. As they're sitting there telling us, Iran is hitting civilians. These motherfuckers are bombing a news station in Iran. And then the spin is amazing. The spin is, oh no, Iran media is part of the terrorist organization, the Ayatollah. So they're a legitimate target because they're Iran state media. Bro, I swear, the goal of these people, man, it fucks with me. It fucks with me. I don't understand the logic behind some of these people. And they feel like, hey, America, they don't give a fuck. We need your money. We need your money because this conflict has to do with you. That's what they want us to believe. This conflict has a lot to do with us. And there's just so much shit going on, you guys. There was so much shit going on. We got footage all over the place. We also have one funny thing that I've been noticing. What you call it? X has been shadow banning the daily Iran military page, and every time something comes up, you got all these people in here talking shit, saying, oh, this is propaganda, this fake news, that. And I'm sitting here, every time I come to this page for updates, there's one thing I'm looking for, and that is to see if this right here, Iron Dome, the real kill count. Listen, I want to see, because everybody keeps saying, oh, the Iron Dome is taking out all these Iranian missiles. I want to actually see destruction. I want to know, because my media is going to lie to me. My media is going to lie to me. So I want to come here just to see. Sorry. Oh, shit. Is this fake? Oh, shit. Supposedly, I could be wrong, but supposedly this is Iran bombing Israel, right? The Zionist regime is running on fumes. They are, obviously, because they're begging America to join the fight. They have nothing else. His air defense missile nearly gone. You mean tell me the David Sling is nearly gone? I want to know. Now, mind you, this is the daily Iran military. They have over, hold on, go ahead, make sure. There's over 1.2 million followers. Right? Hold on. Just for transparency, because, you know, we fair. Let's look at the IDF, because we fair. We fair. What's the difference? Oh, that one's in Hebrew, I think. So, this is the IDF forces, right? Now, they're saying the same shit. Sirens sounding in northern Israel due to a hostile aircraft. Infiltration. Wait a minute. I thought Israel had control of the airspace in Iran. That's what I heard. So, but there's sirens going off in northern Israel due to a hostile aircraft from Iran? If you guys had control of Iranian airspace, how the fuck is there a Iranian aircraft in your airspace? Somebody's lying. Who's lying? Which one of it? This is why I come to X and I look at both of their pages and I be like, all right, I see bombs over here and I see please and help over here. Like, that's all you see on the IDF page. And Benjamin Netanyahu, who's coming over here to America, you should have seen him. He had struck Iran, and immediately they were all over Fox News. Every news station that would hear, they fucking cry. Help, please help. We did something wrong. Shit. So, this is an hour ago. Y'all, this is an hour ago. Sirens went off in Tel Aviv. So don't be listening to these stupid motherfuckers who's saying that, we got everything under control. These motherfuckers Iranian missiles ain't landing over here in Tel Aviv at all. Raw footage. The IDF struck 12 missile launchers. Yeah. Now we get this footage all day. Right? This is America. America propaganda. We're going to get this footage all day long. But when it comes down to this footage, we are shielded from it. This is the kind of footage we are shielded from. Persian arrows raining down on occupied Palestine. Zionist cult stronghold shatters. Hold on, let's get some volume. Cause mind you, this is supposed to be propaganda, y'all. It's supposed to be lies. Ooh, shit. Help me understand. Is this real? Hey, what's your name? John Markey. Markey, is this fake? John, tell me if this is fake. I want to know. For real. I want to know if this is fake, because that looked like an aggressive amount of rockets. Did the David Sling get rid of all these rockets? I don't think they did, bro. I really don't think they did. But that's what happens. That's what happens when you start a conflict that you can't finish. That's what happens when you start a conflict that you can't finish. And the thing about a lot of these right-wing media and people that's on Trump's side, they're talking shit, bro. They're talking a lot of shit, like that video of the lady that was in that news station. I think she's alive. But the way they talk, she deserved it. Spreading propaganda. The whole country is next. That's the kind of talk that they say people of Palestine spew. The people of Palestine are supporting Hamas. This is why we have to bomb Gaza, this and that, because look at the rhetoric coming out of not just Hamas, the Palestinian people. Bro, the people in Israel, disgusting. Disgusting. So let's hold on. I think we got live footage. Hold on. We got live footage. I think this is live footage of Tel Aviv. Let's see. Let's see if we can get some live footage of Tel Aviv real quick, just to see if we can catch something. Because it might look peaceful, right? This might be the Tel Aviv everybody want us to see. The Tel Aviv that everybody's like, hey, man, ain't nothing going on over here. They lying. They lying over there. They lying. Oh, is that birds? Do I hear birds chirping? Oh. Oh, that's beautiful. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Birds is chirping in Tel Aviv. Right? Is my screen tripping? It could be. Hold on. It could be my screen. Let me make sure it ain't my screen. Let me see. Okay. It might be. I just want to double check. But it looked like this building to the left is falling over. Am I tripping? It looked like that building right there was blown the fuck up by something. This is live. So for you bums that are saying, oh, Israel's not been hit, has not been hit. Tell me, is that how you guys build your buildings? Is that how you build your skyscrapers? Look like the whole left side of this building is gone. The whole building is gone. Huh. Huh. So yes, I don't believe anything that come out of these people's mouths. Hold on real quick. I don't believe anything that come out of these motherfuckers' mouths. Especially Benjamin Netanyahu. Especially Benjamin Netanyahu. So now we have, here we go. I think we got action, y'all. I think we got action. We got action. Be careful. We deployed our warships, you guys. American warships are on their way. They are on their way to play, huh? And this is what we're talking about. And a lot of people believe that Benjamin Netanyahu, mind you, there was this situation where American citizens, they were stuck in Israel, right? And a lot of people are saying that they shut down air travel and not allowing these American citizens out in the sense that they're trapped. And a lot of people think that it's on purpose. That way, America could come to their rescue and hope to help Israel in this conflict with Iran. And that's a scary thing. That's a scary thing. Even our troops. We have our troops sitting in a Gulf of some of these areas. And it's like Iran said it straight up. Hey, America, you're helping Israel, then you're a target. And Israel know it. And it's almost like Israel hope that our American troops are attacked and bombed. That way we can have a reason to respond. It's almost like they're using our military servicemen and women as human shields.
Basically, it's a humiliating call on a leadership to surrender unconditionally. And he basically tried to take ownership of the war itself. He said, we control the skies over Iran. And as you said, he implicitly threatened to kill the top leader, the supreme leader of Iran, which is
how is that
illegal
not
in the United States
terrorist?
itself. So my take on it, of course, I would say it's 50 plus that Donald Trump will most likely join the war against Iran, because remember, Donald Trump loves raw power. Donald Trump loves success and victory, and he thinks that Israel is doing wonderfully against Iran, so he wants to join the fray and take credit for the victory over Iran in his own mind.
You know, everyone's been asking about the objective here, and clearly we've been hearing it's about taking out nuclear facilities, and that's the objective. But I want to ask you about regime change, because President Trump over the weekend said that he didn't want to get involved in killing Khamenei. Now he's saying, well, we're not going to kill you, we don't want to take you out, not yet. Do you believe him? Do you think that the US isn't after regime change? And this is fundamental because you've got to think about the day after, should that happen.
Well, I mean, I think the CNN reported today that U.S. intelligence assessment found the entirety of the American intelligence, a dozen or so intelligence units and institutions, found that Iran was neither actively pursuing a nuclear weapon and was years away from being able to acquire a nuclear weapon.
Crazy.
This is the entirety of the American intelligence.
Intelligence, yeah.
And this finding
was it Tulsi Gabbard? One of them.
Clashes.
They said that Iran isn't
Israeli
close
claim
to making a nuclear
that
weapon.
Iran was approaching a point of no return.
So why did Benjamin Netanyahu say it by next week?
Nuclear weapon. And this reminds me with the Iraq moment, when the neoconservatives in the Bush administration manufactured the lie, weapons of mass destruction.
Weapons of mass
Saddam
destruction.
Hussein supposedly had, and used it as a pretext to attack Iraq in 2003. And it was a monstrous miscalculation. What I see now is that both Israel and the United States are really basically pursuing a similar monstrous miscalculation. Not only trying to attack Iran on a false premise that Iran has reached a tipping point, but basically to sabotage the talks that were taking place between Iran and the United States.
Thanks to the same person.
Months, to divert attention
Benjamin Netanyahu.
from the catastrophic war in Gaza and to basically bring about a regime change. Because what Israel has been doing and since Friday is not just target the nuclear program, it's targeting the industrial and military complex, the economic infrastructure, gas, oil, I mean, everything. And now the Israelis, as they seem to be really becoming more ambitious by talking about killing the supreme leader and changing the regime
crazy.
in Iran in the same way
like, why even
that the
talk
Americans
like that,
did
Trump?
in Iraq in 2003.
Yeah, and a lot of lessons there. Fawaz, I've got a question for you in terms of the line of expecting unconditional surrender, and the Ayatollah is looking at this language, but also Iran does have leverage, and the leverage is in the Strait of Hormuz. Everyone's watching very closely to see whether they're going to pull that lever. Is that your anticipation as well? Is there a point of return from the escalation that we've seen?
First of all, I think what we are seeing now is strategic escalation. Iran now is pressed between a rock, unconditional surrender, humiliation, and also a hard place, all-out war, extermination. And if the United States joins the fray, my take is that Iran will most likely use all its assets by trying to close the strategic waterways and basically destroy the oil industry, the supply chains of the oil industry. This could be really catastrophic for the entire Middle East, in particular for the Gulf countries and the world political economy. This is the worst case scenario. So in real terms, what we're talking about is that if the United States joins the war, if the United States
Iran's leverage, oil,
all the way against Iran with Israel, this could really see major devastation, not just political and military and human devastation, but even wrecking the economic infrastructure, the oil and the gas industry in the region, on which most of the world depend at this particular moment.
So Fawaz, let me ask you this. I want to talk about regional impact here. You know, here in the UAE, everyone's watching very closely. Flights have been suspended into multiple countries within the region. What does this mean for other Arab countries, for countries here in the Middle East?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Flights
Well, I
have
think
been
it's
canceled.
the first time,
and
I mean,
some
in the
Americans
past 20
can't get out of
years,
Israel right now.
that most of the Gulf states do not really want all-out war in the Gulf. Saudi Arabia, Oman, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, they all have made it very clear they do not really want the United States to attack Iraq. They're focusing on
Nobody
the domestic
wants
agenda.
them to.
They're focusing on economic prosperity. They're focusing on the mega economic diversifying their economies.
No,
and also,
I'm lying. Hold on.
It's I mean,
I could be
ironic
wrong.
that
Forgive
most
me.
of the
Hold on. I could be wrong because Fox News. We can't forget about them. They probably do want this whole war. They're probably excited that Trump had made this announcement of invading Tehran. I think they love the fact that we're sending troops, we're sending fighter jets, we're sending all type of shit out there. I think Fox News is getting a kick out of it, so I kind of want to check and see if they are. Hold on one second. Let's see what Fox News has to say, because nobody can defend this. I'm sorry. If you try to defend this, then you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. And we had Scott Jennings. Scott Jennings, he's a Fox News contributor, right? He was just in Israel, and he was stuck for a little bit of time. And I think he made it home now, but it was a big thing where it's like, damn, how are these people stuck in Israel? But they're sitting there talking about, oh, we got to get this coverage of this conflict because supposedly Israel's winning. Shit.
We bring in retired four-star General Joseph Votel. During his nearly 4 decades of service in the Army, he led Special Operations Command and Central Command, overseeing military operations in the Middle East. He's a distinguished military fellow at the Middle East Institute. General, very good to have you back on the program today. So you hear this discussion that it appears that the president, and of course he could change his mind on this at any moment, they're in discussions right now in the Situation Room, but it appears that the sending the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and Steve Witkoff, his Middle East envoy, to have one more discussion with Iran appears to be a bit taking a back seat at this point, and we see these military assets moving now. What is your assessment of where things are and how long it might take to actually see this kind of strike that's being considered on Fordo?
Yeah, thanks, Martha. It's great to be with you. I think what we're seeing right now is the president trying to take maximum leverage opportunity here of the situation that's been created by the very devastating Israeli strikes and that have really rendered the air defense capability of Iran mute and have really begun to have impacts not just on the nuclear weapons program, but on the military overall. And I think the president sees that this may be an opportunity for us to get to an end state that we've been after for a long time. That is Iran not having a nuclear weapon. So in my view, I think he is.
Do we have nukes? Does America have nukes? Does Israel have nukes? Yes. What happened to Gaddafi when he gave up his weapons program? Ha! Google it. When Trump's first term came, Trump said, hey, I'm friends with Kim Jong-un. And my friendship is going to deter him from creating nuclear weapons. How did that go? People don't realize that America and Western aggression is disgusting. And nobody has control over it, and you can't regulate it. So the best deterrent for Western aggression is nukes.
Trying to put as much leverage, as much pressure as possible on the Iranian regime right now.
Yeah, it's very interesting, the word that you use, and we hear him talk about control of the skies, and that's because these Israeli attacks have been so effective in knocking out Iranian defense systems, and they have a clear run into the country which has never happened before. They also have none of their proxies active in this fight. No Hezbollah, no Houthis. None of that is impairing the ability to get at this site. With all of your experience in the Middle East, is this an opportunity that should not be passed by, in your opinion?
Well, it's certainly a very unique situation. I mean, many of the assumptions that we've had about the Middle East and about Iran have largely disappeared. The fact that Hezbollah and the past.
That's American hubris. Like, the arrogance of us in our cushion studios and all that. Oh, it look like Iran getting their ass whooped, huh? What happened to all the little proxies and like Hezbollah and the Houthis and them? They can't help out, huh? Nah. Looking like Iran's a little weak. Like, bro, I'm not a part of their operation, so I'm not going to pretend to be. But how the hell y'all going to say that the Houthis is kind of quiet? Because when they started lighting shit up, that's when y'all going to cry. And didn't the Houthis just send bombs to Jerusalem? Didn't they just do that? They did. They just sent some rockets to Jerusalem. So I don't know what the hell you talking about. It's fucking crazy.
Could hold Israel at risk if they chose to do something like this has completely disappeared. The seemingly invincibility of the Iranian air defense system and the effectiveness of their ballistic missile program is, with some exceptions into Israel, of course, has largely not manifested itself. So it is a key opportunity. Now, whether we choose to follow through with that militarily or whether we choose to put more pressure on it and approach it diplomatically, of course, is a decision for the President of the United States, and one that I'm sure is being discussed at this very minute in the White House.
What is your sense, having worked in this region for so long, of the Ayatollah and how much of his own military infrastructure and his personal support structure? His chief of staff was taken out yesterday, I believe. He's 86 years old. You know, what is your sense of what he will do at this sense, having watched him over all these years?
Yeah, I think a lot of the sources of power and influence for him are going away very, very quickly. Not just subordinate leaders, but his control over the people. I think is very much compromised at this particular point. So
of course you would say that.
His authority as the supreme leader, I think, is being diminished. Now, he's been in place for a long time. There still is a lot, it still largely is a police state. So he does exert some control over the population, but that has certainly been diminished. And the Iranian people are now seeing the result of his policies being played out in their own streets on a regular basis, at least over the last 5 days or so.
How many alternatives are there? I want to play this bunker buster video again, General, which shows how this munition would work, how this 30,000 pound bomb would work. And then there's also some discussion about other alternatives of, cutting off the power systems to this facility or potentially cracking the surface of it to destabilize what's underneath. What's your take on, are there other ways besides this that we're watching, which look pretty effective, than getting at this?
Oh, look at the cracks.
Yeah. Well, I think we have to think of these of this nuclear weapons facility at Fordow as kind of a system of systems. And so when you attack power supply, for example, when you attack the logistics nodes or the transportation nodes or the other supporting facilities for it, you're definitely going to have an impact on the overall enrichment facility. It may not destroy it in the same way that a GBU 57, the MOP would, but it would definitely have an impact on it. And loss of power in these centrifuges can cause them to fail in a significant way that would make it very difficult for them to return to their process of enriching uranium.
So interesting. Thank you, General. I saw one assessment that even the ventilation system would make it impossible to work in the area. That's another potential way. And we spoke to one of the Israeli advisors yesterday who talked about there's a number of ways to get at this. So that's got to be part of the conversation that's happening right now in the Situation Room as well. General Votel, really wonderful to have you with us, sir. Thank you.
Great to be with you.
We may need you in the coming days.
That's the craziest thing, y'all. It's the arrogance. The arrogance is the crazy part. Well, look at our drawing. You see our drawing? Our drawing says that these bombs can go, it can hit the ground, and then it will make a little access for another bomb to go in the ground, and then boom, it will blow up. And next thing you know, the air quality will be so bad that they wouldn't even be able to work. They're stressing. You guys, this administration is really stressing this whole situation. Hold on real quick. Because, like, how are you? I thought Israel had this under control. I thought they did. Right? I thought, because that's what a lot of pro-Israel supporters were saying. They say, "Oh, we got this. We're gonna blow Iran out the water. They don't want no war with Israel. It's David and Goliath. We the little guys. We about to blow them up." Now they're talking about Trump. Please, send us your bunker busters. Like what? I thought y'all had this. I thought y'all had this covered, man. And they don't. And they know they don't. And that's why a lot of people are speaking out. And it's not just anti-Trump folks. It's actually a lot of Trump's folks who disagree with this war.
Now, multiple sources tell CBS News that President Trump is considering joining Israel's effort to strike Iranian nuclear facilities. Now, this all comes as lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are looking to limit the president's ability to order U.S. strikes on Iran. I want to bring in Robert Costa, the chief Washington analyst for CBS News. Robert, great to be with you. President Trump's approach to the conflict between Israel and Iran has divided his supporters. Many on the far right do not want the United States to get involved in this conflict, while others who are more right of center believe that the U.S. must do everything they can to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. What are you hearing from your sources on this?
It's great to be with you. What's happening right now inside the Republican Party and within conservative circles is indicative of a lot of things that have been developing, not just in recent days, but in recent decades. You have so-called hawks, those Republicans who want to take a pretty tough and aggressive stance toward Iran.
Yes, they think this is a game. They really do. They believe this is just a game, and they are in charge of it. And the people that are losing their lives are just pieces on the board that they can move around.
Want to see the U.S. potentially be involved in containing a situation in the Middle East militarily, versus those who are more dovish or non-interventionists. They do not want to see the United States have a military footprint abroad, and they're still wary about what happened in what they call forever wars in Iraq and Afghanistan that started in the early 2000s. And these tensions are very real. You see it between some people inside the Trump White House and those outside, and you have those on the outside like Steve Bannon and Tucker Carlson saying President Trump, even though they really like him personally and politically, should be wary of listening to those who want to see more of a U.S. presence militarily in the region.
It's interesting because lawmakers really on both sides of the aisle want to limit the president's ability to order strikes, Robert. I mean, even Republican Representative Massey said that he introduced a measure to block U.S. strikes. Now, a reminder, only Congress has the power to declare.
Like Steve Bannon and Tucker Carlson, they both were saying this is not a good idea, bro. And immediately, they started attacking him. And when Tucker Carlson got attacked, people were like, wait a minute. That was your boy. How you just gonna attack him for just having a different view on this war here? I thought we all could have our own view on the war. But you're showing everybody that loyalist part of your friends is very important to you, because your friends can't even have an opposing opinion without you saying, they was a never Trumper.
declare war. And it's worth noting that in 2020, President Trump faced criticism for his decision to strike an Iranian military leader without notifying congressional leaders. Is there a sense that the president is overstepping his authority?
Of course,
it's somewhat of a gray area when it comes to constitutional legal power for the executive. Yes, Congress formally, constitutionally, is the body in our government that can declare war.
Yes.
But you see the President of the United States now and in previous presidencies navigate around this a little bit by unilaterally making some military decisions that don't necessarily reach the threshold of what we would call war by definition, but still have warlike elements. So you have the United States right now having an air presence in and over Iran as Israel attacks Iran. But the United States is holding back from any kind of offensive effort at this point. And that's a way President Trump's able to avoid, at least at this moment, being tagged as someone who's pursuing war against Iran. And he doesn't want to be seen as someone doing that, based on my conversations with his associates.
Yeah, and it's interesting to watch this dynamic play out, though, between Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump. Today, Trump indicated in a tweet that he was directing what was going on, saying that he chose not to take out Iran's supreme leader. Now, the U.S. is Israel's most...
Yeah. We need to chill out. Think about what they're saying. The way that this news is framing, like this isn't human beings we're talking about. Trump wanted to take out their dear leader. Like, why? Why? This whole regime change thing, the way they frame it, they say, oh, Muslims, they are disrespectful to their women. That's what they say. Oh, Islam, they're harmful to their women. They won't let them show their legs. Mind you, if DEI isn't if anti-DEI rhetoric isn't about black folks being on a job, then your beef is with women. We got Republicans right now that are fighting hard to get women out the workplace. So how are you going to sit there and talk shit about Iran? And the 19th Amendment wasn't even a unanimous decision. It wasn't. I think like half. It was like 20 and something. And some people didn't even vote. There were some people in the 19th Amendment that didn't even vote. It was like, shit, we don't want women to vote. And it's crazy. That's how America was. But nobody came over here and did a regime change. Hell, fuck that. Did y'all see the No Kings parade? Multi-million person march against our president. So when they sit there and say that we need to do a regime change in Iran and all these other countries, it's because they're trying to save their citizens from the regime. Their citizens don't like the government. How would we feel if China decided to come over here and do a regime change because 90% of the citizens do not agree with Trump? How would we feel? All this civil unrest going on. You got the military on the street. If China was just over there looking like, oh man, you know what? We gotta go fix America. How would we feel? Seriously, how would we feel? Like, we need to stay the fuck out of people's business. Now, it was another video. I'm gonna play a couple of these because I be watching Piers Morgan, and Piers Morgan, he be having these debates. You know, these panels be on here going back and forth about the Israel-Palestine conflict. And obviously, since this war happened, they're discussing the Iranian conflict with Israel. And it got a little heated. But when this is right. No. This is when that news station was bombed live. And Professor Morandi was on this show. And Piers was being so rude. He would not even let him speak. Bro, it was the most disgusting. I mean disgusting display of arrogance. And I think these Western media talking heads, they can see the writing on the wall that the narrative is falling apart.
And fund Hamas and Hezbollah. Think like you cannot be this dumb.
Israel attacked Iran. Stop lying. Stop lying.
Everything you just said, with all due respect, is absolute propaganda for the terrorists.
10 years ago today, Donald Trump comes down the golden escalator. And what did he say? No more foreign, endless wars.
He did.
Your friends, your Zionist allies, they have bombed buildings belonging to the Iranian television. I'm in one of those buildings. The guard right now is standing outside the door telling me to leave. I was yelling at him, telling him to go. I'm going to finish this interview.
What we saw on Thursday night from Israel was not a preemptive strike. It was a preventive strike, which is illegal under international law. I don't know why you're believing them on this.
Right.
If the UN's experts are correct, then Iran is or was 3 days away from enriching enough uranium to build an atomic bomb. That would support Prime Minister Netanyahu's claim that Iran is months, not years, from developing nuclear weapons. And nuclear Iran would be a serious threat to Israel and, frankly, to all of us.
How?
And we know this because the ruling mullahs are not subtle about their intentions, as we're supposed to believe at chanting death to Israel.
See? We know that nuclear Iran is a dangerous thing. We can't have that. We can't have that. Why? Why? Explain to me. You tell me. Because remember, the first boogeyman was Kim Jong-un, right? I didn't even know he had nuclear weapons thanks to Trump being his friend. But I didn't hear about South Korea being nuked yet. So what makes you think that just because your fucking mouth said, oh, we can't let Iran have nukes, that we're supposed to believe it? Oh, we got to bomb Iran because they're trying to keep us from invading them, and we can't have that. We need to invade them one day. Bro, this shit ain't working. It ain't working no more, Pierce. Especially from
Israel,
a Brit.
death to Britain and death to America is just excitable rhetoric like globalize the intifada. But there's a lot that we don't know for sure about this crisis. Frankly, the foreign policy experts don't have a stellar record on weapons of mass destruction in Middle Eastern dictatorships. Today, the IAEA, whose evidence is the basis for a lot of this, said the IDF is exaggerating the damage it's done to Iran's nuclear facilities. As recently as March, the US Director of National Intelligence said this.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon. The Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC.
Was she lying? BB, hey, Benjamin Netanyahu, was she lying when she said, clear as day, that Iran is not building nukes? We just checked. We got all the information right here. Why did y'all bomb them? Come on, man.
Continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program.
Bam.
Well, Netanyahu has been talking up the imminent threat of a nuclear weapon in Tehran for at least 33 years, and his core message has always been that Europe, and most importantly America, should be very afraid about it. Here he was making that point to me in 2013. If President Rouhani picked the telephone up and called you, would you take that call?
Yeah, we're not averse to calling. It's a question. I'll tell you what I'll tell him. You want the sanctions lifted? Stop your nuclear program. Why do you need underground bunkers? Why do you need ICBMs? The sole purpose of ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, is to carry nuclear payloads. By the way, not to Israel, to Europe and to the United States. They already have missiles that reach Israel. Why do you need to enrich uranium?
Well, most of the allies who are furious with Israel's increasingly brutal war in Gaza
They don't even want them to have
lockstep
ballistic
with
missiles.
Netanyahu on Iran, but that doesn't mean there is any public support for being dragged into a full-scale war. And mission creep is Netanyahu's speciality. If Israel's neutralized Iran's nuclear threat, then I support that. But I think I speak for most when I say I don't support mass civilian suffering in a prolonged war that's contingent on support from everybody else. In a moment, we'll debate all this with my panel, the columnist of Sunday Times, Matthew Said, host and founder of Young Turks, Cenk Uygur, Ben Ferguson, who's the co-host of The Verdict with Ted Cruz, and Jack Posobiec, the senior editor at Human Events. But first, I'm joined by Danny Danon. He's the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations. Mr. Danon, thank you very much indeed for coming back on Uncensored. First of all, can you just explain to me where you believe Israel currently is in this operation?
Guess
hey,
which
keep it
student
100
has a better
too.
chance of getting into an Ivy League school?
Keep
First,
it 100
to break it
too.
down,
What do you think? You think he's
valedictorian.
gonna speak? You think he's gonna tell the truth?
Thank you for having me again, Piers. So we are pushing back Iran. You know, it's going to be a long process. You know, for years, Iran built those capabilities, and we know Iran is a big country, and they have a lot of capabilities. And when I speak about capabilities, it's not only the nuclear program that everybody speaks about, it's also the ballistic missile industry. You know, we found out the intentions of Iran to build a massive force of ballistic missiles that can actually compete with the US and Russia. And by the way, unfortunately, we are paying.
What's wrong with that? Like, I'm trying to understand Westerners and their mindset. Damn, these niggas can't even have ballistic missiles. They can't have shit that will deter them from Western aggression. Hell, y'all niggas got bullets too? What the fuck y'all doing with them bullets? The hell's going on over there in Iran? Like, bro, it's not working no more. People need to defend themselves. You know Iran has the right to defend itself. You know that, right?
The price almost every night because you see the damage of those ballistic missiles. So you can just imagine if they had thousands of those missiles at the same time targeting Tel Aviv or Jerusalem, it would be devastating. So we are targeting the nuclear facilities. We are targeting the ballistic missile infrastructure.
So why y'all starting shit?
And overall, we know about the extermination plan of Iran against Israel, so we are pushing them back.
There are certain
Piers, you ain't gonna push back on them?
which you have been unable to get to because you don't have enough weaponry. America has that weaponry. Would you like America to help you, to give you the weaponry you need to get in to where you believe a lot of this nuclear stuff is being hidden?
Where you believe? You don't know where that shit's
Well, that would be a U.S. decision. You know, when we look at what's happening in Iran, they are threatening not only Israel, but the U.S. They are burning American flags. They try to assassinate President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Lies. Where? Prove it. Show me. Show me. Show me that they tried to assassinate President Trump. We don't fucking believe you. You're a fucking liar. You're a liar. Because if the Iranians were trying to assassinate President Trump, right? Why would they say, no, that wasn't us? When those shooters had actually tried to take Trump's life, one of them actually shot, supposedly his ear. Why did the Iranian government not take credit? Why would they even care? Trump is calling for their assassination. Trump says, I know where you at. I don't want to kill you yet, but I will if I have to. So why would they even say, oh no, I ain't had nothing to do with that? Because they didn't. If Iran had something to do with Trump's assassination, they would boldly be saying it. They would be out there like, ha ha, we almost got your president. He ain't gonna get away next. Like, it would be the biggest fuck you on planet Earth. But it's not true. You just want us to believe it so you can take our tax dollars to fight this war. And it looked like, I ain't gonna tell you what his mouth looked like, but he looked like he was a prisoner of war one time and had his mouth
I think
sewed together.
the American people understand that
Fucking
we are fighting
weirdo.
their fight, but
It's
it will
not
be
our fight.
their
Shut
decision to decide if they want to get involved and how to get involved. But in the past, you know, it's not for the first time. We were the one who took the initiatives. You know, when we attacked the reactor in Iraq in 1982, we did it ourselves. Same was the case when we attacked the reactor in Syria.
You did it
it's
yourself.
Not the same. We are talking about
the Iraq war.
Much bigger task this time. You know, a strong country. And when you look at the numbers, Israel is a tiny country. You know, 9 million people compared to 90 million people in Iran. You look at the size of Israel, you know, Iran is 70 times bigger than Israel. So it is a challenge for us, but we decided not to wait anymore.
There are many people who say that Prime Minister Netanyahu in particular has spent 3 decades talking about the imminent danger of Iran developing nuclear weapons and enriching uranium.
Right.
Why should we believe now that it is any nearer to being done than in those 30 odd years?
Right.
Mr. Wonderful here.
Hold on.
My friend
My
Howard
time for
Marks
that.
is
Don't
the
care.
co-founder of Activision.
Why would we believe it now?
The gaming giant that was just
That is the
acquired
best
for an
question
impressive-
ever. That is the best question ever.
Well, first you need to listen to the IAEA. You know, if you don't want to believe us or our intelligence, they said themselves that they have enough enriched uranium, that it's enough for multiple bombs. And then you look at the intentions, and I tend to believe the Iranians. When they say they want to destroy Israel, I believe them. When they say that they will use those weapons, and they have a sign that actually with a clock in the square in the middle of Tehran, I believe them. So we don't take any chances anymore. And after October 7th...
Well, there's a lot of genocidal talk coming from Israel. Should we believe y'all? Y'all actually are acting out some of y'all aggression. Should we believe y'all?
You know, we saw the evil of our enemies. So we cannot wait and decide to wait more whether Iran will have the bomb and will use it or not. We are not going to be in that situation. That's why we took the preemptive attack. And you know, when you have the intention, and you have the ballistic missiles, and you have enriched uranium, so until when should we wait? Until they will actually send the bomb to Tel Aviv? We will not do that.
Your defense minister, Katz, this morning posted on...
The uranium, right? The uranium was, I think it was like 2 to 3% enriched during Obama's administration. They had the Iran nuclear deal going on. I think it was literally like 2 to 3%. Trump came in, ripped up the agreement, threw that bitch in the trash, said, hey, we ain't having no nuclear deal with Iran. That was what, 10 years ago? Now they're at 60%. So you mean tell me if Trump didn't rip up that agreement that Obama had signed, they would still be at like 2%? Yeah. So this was Trump's doing or some shit. Ow.
The arrogant dictator from Tehran has become a cowardly murderer who fires targeted shots at the civilian home front in Israel to deter the IDF from continuing the attack that is collapsing its capabilities. The residents of Tehran will pay the price, and soon. This was seen by many people, including myself. I responded to that to say that this seemed to be a direct threat against the civilian population of Tehran. He later said, I would like to clarify the obvious, even though it clearly wasn't obvious. There is no intention to physically harm the residents of Tehran as the murderous dictator does against residents of Israel. And it carried on the clarification. But it was a very stupid thing of him to post, wasn't it? To even infer, albeit in a way that he says came out wrong, that the civilian population, the residents of Tehran, would become targets of Israeli strikes.
Right. Oh.
Well, as you said, Piers, the minister clarified his statement, but I would say more than that. Not only we care for the people of Iran, we pray for them. And if they are watching us now, I want to tell them we feel their fears and we have nothing against them. We know that they are being oppressed, and we pray for the day that they will be able to live normal life and we can go back to where we were 46 years ago, before the revolution.
You just sat here and said that Iran is targeting civilians. They're terrorists, this, that, and the third, right? But your own fucking Israeli military people or whoever says no civilians. There's no civilians in Iran. They're all targets. Come on now. You guys can't be sitting there having your cake and eat it too and then tell the public to believe y'all. Now, I want y'all to see something real quick before we go back into this video. I want y'all to see something because they keep on saying that Iran is committing war crimes because all of their missiles is hitting civilians and not their target, not military target. They're saying we're going after their military target. They're going after civilians. So y'all look at this video real quick, and I want to show you something. Hold on one second. I want to show y'all what I see. I could be wrong, but y'all let me know if y'all see what I see. Now, this is Israel interceptors taking out incoming Iranian missiles. Right? You see it. You see the missiles coming down. Those missiles coming down. Boom. Those are Iranian missiles. You see that late bloomer? Look at that late bloomer that came up. That's an interceptor. Right? We're going to see it again. Another one came up. Right? Those are interceptors. Hold on. We're going to bring it back. We're going to bring it back. Mind you, he said, this is what he said. Oh, Iran is targeting civilians, civilian neighborhoods, right? Mind you, hold on, we're going to bring it back. Look what this bomb does. It hits right in, okay. It looked like a civilian neighborhood, right? Doesn't this look like a civilian neighborhood? Boom, right? But what is this coming up from the civilian neighborhood? Look at it. The interceptors are located in the civilian neighborhood. That's what it looked like to me. Oh, look, another one. Boom. That's what it looked like to me, that these Iranian missiles are targeting, boom, your interceptors, and your interceptors are in the neighborhood. Sorry. It ain't working. It ain't working. We're not listening to that shit no more. Y'all can cry all the hell you want to, but the only one killing civilians is Israel. Yep.
Become a cowardly murderer who fires targeted shots at the civilian home front in Israel to deter the IDF from continuing the attack that is collapsing its capabilities. The residents of Tehran will pay the price, and soon. This was seen by many people, including myself. I responded to that to say that this seemed to be a direct threat against the civilian population of Tehran. He later said, I would like to clarify the obvious, even though it clearly wasn't obvious. There is no intention to physically harm the residents of Tehran, as the murderous dictator does against residents of Israel. And they carried on the clarification. But it was a very stupid thing of him to post, wasn't it? To even infer, albeit in a way that he says came out wrong, that the civilian population, the residents of Tehran, would become targets of Israeli strikes.
Well, as you said, Piers, the minister clarified his statement, but I would say more than that. Not only we care for the people of Iran, we pray for them. And if they are watching us now, I want to tell them we feel their fears and we have nothing against them. We know that they are being oppressed, and we pray for the day that they will be able to live normal life and we can go back to where we were 46 years ago, before the revolution. You know, we had daily flights between Tel Aviv to Tehran. You know, we had a real bond with the Iranian people, and I believe one day it will be the same. So we pray for the Iranian people, and we hope that they will not be oppressed in the future. And for us, you know, we do everything we can to minimize civilian casualties. You know, even today, we announced that we are going to attack a certain area in Tehran in order to minimize civilian casualties. And they are doing exactly the opposite. Every night they are targeting cities, neighborhoods in Israel. And unfortunately, every night we have casualties, families, kids that are being killed from those missiles.
Wait, whoa. Every night you have families and kids being killed by these missiles that are not landing because they're getting taken out by the Iron Dome. Y'all need to make up y'all motherfucking minds. Either y'all got this under control, Iran is nothing but a bunch of sandal wearing, sand hopping, camel riding dumbasses who don't have an active military that can handle the force of Israel, or y'all getting your ass whooped and there's civilians getting smacked over something that y'all started and you need America's help. It has to be one or the other, you know what I mean? Because your story is falling apart.
Looking at a lot of the senior military commanders in Iran and a number of nuclear scientists. This is according to obviously what you have put out. But the Ayatollah remains alive. It's been reported that President Trump has vetoed any attempt to assassinate the Ayatollah. But I mean, why, out of interest, if you're going to target all the top people of the regime, why would you not target the Ayatollah?
Piers, I will not go into detail, but I will tell you that, you know, we showed our capabilities. We showed the amount of intelligence we have about the whereabouts of the leadership of Iran and the IRGC. We showed our capability to fly everywhere, not only above Tehran, everywhere in Iran, which is a huge country. So we have those capabilities, and we will decide, you know, what we will do next.
The new How to
We
Train
will
Your
decide
Dragon menu is
what
now
we'll
with
do
BK.
next
Get
if
it
the
before it
Americans
disappears.
will listen to us and let us and give us the weapons, because we need the American weapons, because we can't decide without the American weapons.
Many of us.
Yeah, whatever, Piers.
Can you just explain something to me, which is that this has clearly been a very well-planned operation. There are reports of Mossad agents being all over Iran, planning all sorts of stuff involving drones and targeting sites and targeting people and so on. So from a military perspective, a highly successful operation so far. As indeed was the operation against Hezbollah, where 3,000 terrorists were targeted with the pager devices. Again, very successful, very precise, very targeted.
He called me a
Mossad's
cuck.
fingerprints
Oh,
all
shit.
over it.
I'm a cuck.
Which does beg the question, and it's one that I've asked that I've not really had a satisfactory answer to. But why is it that with Mossad, one of the world's foremost intelligence agencies, being clearly at the forefront of going after terrorism with Hezbollah and with now Iran, why was it completely incapable of
Yes, Epstein do has Trump. I'm sorry.
right on the doorstep.
Forgive me,
of
I just seen
Israel,
y'all comments.
Hamas.
I just seen y'all comments. Yes. I said this earlier, this whole Jeffrey Epstein situation. Think about that. Soon as Elon came out with Trump is on Epstein's list, all this shit started. All of it. And then, out of nowhere, Trump and Elon, kind of made up. You seen that shit? Trump, they was going at it. Trump said, I'm going to go ahead and take all your government contracts away. Elon was like, oh, yeah, well, shit, watch, this is going to be the biggest bombshell ever. We was like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? Next thing you know, Trump said, oh, he's a disgruntled employee. He just mad, this, that, and the third, yada, yada. The next thing you know, Elon dropped that bombshell, said that watch when the Epstein's list come out and Trump is on it. Boom. Next thing you know, Israel attacks Iran. We had National Guards hit the streets of LA. All this fucking civil unrest right when that information came out. So yes, I believe you, Jez or Jer. Yes, Epstein and Trump. There's a thing.
Elected governors, but given free reign when Israel pulled out of Gaza in 2005, that they were able to spend 20 years building a highly sophisticated, very deep tunnel network, and were then able to plan one of the world's worst terror attacks in modern times. And even after doing all that, the only way that Israel's been able to go after Hamas has been to basically flatten as much of Gaza as it can, and in the process kill 50, 60, maybe 70,000 or more people, including maybe 3/4 of that being civilians. People seem sort of nonplussed why Mossad seems to drop the ball so badly in Gaza and with Hamas, and yet
it's
so
on
successful.
Purpose, right? We know that. We know that Gaza is too close to Israel, and they would love to have that land. So they don't give a shit about the Palestinians. This wasn't about going in there and taking out Hamas. Yeah, they could have rigged a couple Hamas pagers or sent in the Mossad to go in and pretend to be refugees of Palestine and came out with some ARs and took out all the Hamas and rescued the civilian. Yes, rescued the hostage. Yes, but that wasn't the plan. The plan is to take over the sliver next to the river to make them bigger. That's it. That's it.
In other parts of the region.
So first, I agree with you that we have to give credit for the Mossad for the operations in Lebanon and in Tehran. You know, we have no border with Iran. We have no dispute with them. It's 1,000 miles away from Israel. And still we developed very impressive capabilities in Iran. Regarding to your question, you know, it's important to understand that Mossad is not in charge of Gaza or acquiring intelligence in Gaza. In our government, in our system, we have separation between
why not?
Mossad,
If you don't mind me interrupting, why not? I mean, they've been right in the heart of Tehran.
Allow me
They've been in the heart of
explain,
Lebanon. Why not in Gaza? Doesn't make any sense.
It makes no fucking sense.
I will explain my point that, you know, Mossad is dealing with external threats, and the Shabak, the internal security agency, deals with the threat within Israel, which includes Gaza and Judea and Samaria. So yes, I agree with you that we failed on October 7th, and we're going to have to inquire exactly what happened. You know, I was Deputy Minister of Defense 10 years ago, and I sat in many important intelligence committees. I think one of the reasons...
Yeah. I want to see when Professor Marandi come out, because they had a nice conversation. But
completely.
The way Piers Morgan disrespected Marandi was kind of one of those things that made me realize that, oh, Israel's losing. They're losing big time. And they want everybody to be a puppet for them while they take this loss, and want us to be okay with our tax dollars going to them for this war.
Stabilized, and Afghanistan, the Taliban is even in a better position than they were before we got involved, because they have all the U.S. military equipment that we left there. And so every time the U.S. gets involved in one of these things, it actually seems to make the situation much, much worse.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's take a short break, panel. I'll come back to you for your reaction to this next interview I'm about to do. It's with the Iranian academic and former advisor to Iran's nuclear negotiating team, Mohammad Marandi. Professor Marandi, thank you for coming back on Uncensored. This is a pretty terrible situation for Iran. It looks like Israel has caught your military napping, caught your leaders napping. They've been asleep, it seems quite literally in some cases, as Israel launched this surprise attack, which has been so far stunningly successful and had comparatively small retaliation from Iran, which suggests that maybe you don't have the capability to do much about what is happening to your country.
You hear that? Look like Israel been whooping your ass. Look like you don't have the capability to fight it off, and any response that y'all did use or do is so fucking small that it don't matter. So what's the deal, Marandi? Piers, they are begging for United States help. How can you sit there with a straight fucking face and say that Israel is putting a hurting on Iran? You don't believe. You know that we don't believe that, but you don't believe that. Fucking idiot. Now watch how disgusting this shit is.
Well, first of all, I have to point out some nonsense that your guest said. I fought in the Iran-Iraq war as a volunteer, and I was part of the war effort for 6 years, on and off. I was wounded 4 times, and I survived 2 chemical attacks. There was no children being pushed over minefields. These are myths that Westerners, Western media, Western elites have been promoting for many years in order to demonize Iranians and to portray us as fanatic. Right now, Piers, your friends, your Zionist allies,
I didn't know that either.
Buildings belonging to the Iranian television. I'm in one of those buildings. And the guard right now is standing outside the door telling me to leave. And I was yelling at him, telling him to go. I'm going to finish this interview. We are not intimidated by you, your government, the United States, or the Israeli regime. This was a blatant act of aggression.
Right.
People were murdered in Iranian radio and television just minutes ago.
Right.
And I tweeted it, and your colleagues have seen it.
Right.
And this building is also a target. Your allies target journalists. Your allies have murdered over 200 journalists.
Right.
And you are complicit in this genocide.
Well, let me respond to that, Professor.
You repeated the lies.
Listen, I've seen you,
about
Professor.
racism.
All due respect, Professor.
You are complicit.
All due respect, Professor. I've seen you doing this kind of shtick in the last few days on all sorts of shows. And let me just respond. The reason that I actually think that Israel has a right to do what it is doing with your regime is that your regime has been the fulcrum for terrorism in the Middle East now for decades. Through Hezbollah, through the Houthis, through Hamas. It has done whatever it can do to destabilize the region, to terrorize Israel and anyone else it doesn't like. It's a draconian, oppressive,
Israel can do whatever
regime,
it wants,
which is
and
deeply
nobody can
unpopular with
respond.
many Iranians. And every time I've seen you appear in the last few days, you've had a big smirk grin on your face, as if somehow you know better than everybody else, and that somehow we are misinterpreting your rulers and your regime, and that you're all a bunch of really nice people who have nothing but good intentions for the rest of the world, when in fact it's the complete opposite. And finally, Israel has said enough. And they're coming after your nuclear capability because your own
Piers is
ruler,
the white
Ayatollah, has made
supremacist
it clear
terrorist.
that he would very much like to
I
see
agree with that.
Israel removed from this world. And if you hear that and you're in Israel, then you're going to take
How you
action
doing?
to stop that happening. So that would be my response to you.
When I started drinking cold water to help me lose weight,
and that's how
my
all
friends
these
laughed at me.
Western media
But when they saw how
motherfuckers
fast
think,
I was changing,
they think that, oh, your country this, your country
Well,
that.
your rant is
It
over.
don't work no more.
I would
Sorry.
point out that you are a dishonest person and a dishonest so-called
You
journalist.
can do
I
ad
invited
hominem
you to
stuff as
come
much
to
as you
Iran.
like.
All
But
he
you were
said
too
was you're
cowardly.
dishonest.
Be quiet for a moment.
Let him finish.
Be quiet for a moment and let me speak.
You don't tell me
I am
how to
the one
behave on my own
under
show.
bombardment.
If you're going to call me a coward,
You invited
if you're going
me.
to call me a
You
coward and a
allowed me to
liar,
speak.
then I won't be
You're a
quiet
coward.
on my own show.
But you are.
Especially not from someone like
are the
you
coward.
who spews
I am right now-
disinformation.
I am the one in this building that has been evacuated, and I'm only sitting here because of you.
Right.
So allow me to speak.
Let him
Well,
speak.
keep the ad hominem
You are
attached to yourself
dishonest.
then. If you're going to call me a liar and a coward, I'm
But
going to
you
jump in
are.
and take you on.
Look at how you-
So show some respect or don't bother.
You are a coward. You are a coward. You did not come to Iran when I invited you, so you have no right to.
I wouldn't trust going to Iran. Why on earth would I
comment
trust
about
going to Iran? As
Just
your
like
guest,
your guest said nonsense about
as your
Iranians
guest
running-
in Iran, with your contacts with the Iranian regime.
You scared?
I wouldn't trust that as far as I
So
could
don't
throw it.
comment. So don't comment about Iran if you don't come here.
Well, let me give you some facts
In any
about
case-
your country. Let me give you some facts. And see
Oh,
where
here we
I'm
go.
wrong
Facts
here.
about his
Women
country.
face
In any
severe
case.
restrictions when it comes to
In any
marriage,
case.
divorce.
See that? Now he's gonna list off a whole bunch of shit that may be in Iran's laws that peers may disagree with. What laws? I guess Sharia law states that women can't wear their hair out or some certain kind of way, right? Mind you, there's a lot of Muslim women, a lot of them, that come to America from all over the place, including Iran. And a lot of those women still dress up in their scarves. They don't care to show their hair, their legs, their cleavage like American women. That's them Westerners. Let them do it. But to sit here and be like, oh, they don't let women show their hair. Bro, again, the 19th Amendment was not, I repeat, was not a unanimous decision.
Divorce, inheritance, child custody, and so on. Compulsory veiling, punishable by flogging and prison sentences. Women punished for bad dressing, defined as exposing any body parts below the neck. Women
See that? See that? You go to jail for exposing body parts below the neck in Iran. Okay. I will go to jail if I expose body parts below the neck out here. Right? It's just that weird white Eurocentric mindset. Like, why they can't show us they titties? It's weird. They don't want them women to be like that. They want them to value themselves. Is that hard?
From certain professions, they can't be judges. They can't be they can't be in certain positions in government.
It's crazy. Yeah, they're bothered by women being covered up.
Civil society organizations, trade unions, LGBT people suffer systematic discrimination and violence. Closing shops that have so-called improperly veiled customers. Authorities censor media, jam certain television channels, continue to block or filter mobile apps, social media platforms, executions, including those of children.
There's other countries that do it too. Thank you.
Are widespread and systematic. State television can often air torture-tainted confessions, arresting and sentencing people who break fast during Ramadan. Anyone who speaks out protests against the regime can be subjected to the death penalty, flogging, prison terms, and other severe penalties. It doesn't sound like a great place for me to visit.
Yeah, that sounds like America. You speak out against Trump, you speak out against Israel, you can lose your job, you can go to school for 4 years and spend all this money on your tuition and all of that, but as soon as you write a blog or something that may be critical of the Israeli government, you can either lose your fucking degree, your tuition's thrown in the trash, niggas like you never even went to the school, and if you are a student on a visa, you can be deported. So yes, peers, we're not that great over here either.
Visit, with all due respect, Professor Morandi. So you can tell me that I'm a coward and I'm a liar, and I can tell you that you prop up, personally, you go on the airwaves and you disingenuously prop up and grotesquely defend a terrible regime, which is now getting, as many people see, its final comeuppance for constantly threatening Israel with
many people
getting a bomb
and
taking it out. And that's what this is about. You know it and I know it. And you also know that your regime has propped up the Houthis and Hezbollah and Hamas. It has been the octopus with its tentacles of terrorism spreading all over the Middle East.
Look at that smile he don't like. Look at that smile.
So you can call me what you like, but what you can't do is deny what I've just said.
You gonna let him talk?
You are a coward.
So you keep saying. So you keep saying.
You are a coward.
That's all you can say, isn't it? That's all you've got. That's all you've got. Do one of your smoke rings.
You helped enable genocide in Gaza.
Yes.
You don't want to let me talk. You don't want me to talk.
I do, but if all you're going to do is call me a coward and a liar, then why should I keep listening to that? It's pointless. It's what you've been doing on the airways for days.
You say not. Because you say nonsense.
Really? What was nonsense about anything? What was nonsense about anything I said?
Everything. But you just rant on, and you think this way you can convince your audience that while your allies are murdering Iranians, while your allies have murdered
children. Tell them. This is your allies, peers. This is Britain's doing. Remember that. Keep that in mind. The Belfort Agreement was drafted by William Belfort. It was all structured by Great Britain. Great Britain failed the Palestinian people. They did not give them what they promised them. Look it up. Look up everything that was promised to the Palestinian people.
Be responsible for mass murder. Your regime has been responsible for mass murder.
Let me talk. You are
I know it's the truth. I believe it. There's a lot of countries that's banning hair coverage, and
you know that your narrative.
They only care about this country.
Your narrative is that I'm a coward and a liar. Have you got anything else in your tank? Any other argument other than ad hominem?
Tweets a couple of weeks ago But you won't let me talk. You're afraid of letting me talk.
Afraid.
You're afraid.
I'm not afraid of you, Professor Morandi, but you look to me like you're afraid because you know now that the game is up.
Coward,
Iran's terrorism game is up.
I'm in IR. I am in the Iranian radio television building, and it has been emptied because they say they're going to bomb this building. And I stayed here for you, and you are responsible for justifying these criminal acts. And those colleagues of yours in Iran who are true journalists who died today, their blood is on your hand. And
they're
you
not
will
on my
never
hands
escape
because
that.
I'm not
Just
part
like
of the Israeli government or the IDF.
Of Gaza. You are too cowardly to let me talk.
You're just talking nonsense.
You're a coward.
You're talking
you
nonsense.
Won't let me talk.
If I was a coward, I wouldn't have had you on. I wouldn't have had you on if I was a coward. But I knew what you would try and do. You try and do this with all the journalists that you talk to, and I'm afraid it doesn't work anymore. Your shtick doesn't work anymore. You defend the indefensible. Shit. You go ad hominem on every host you ever talk to. You were at it yesterday with a Sky News presenter, and I'm not going to take it from you. Sorry, just not going to.
I don't care. You're a genocide enabler. That's what you are.
And you're a terrorism defender. You're a
he denied it. He denied it for a very long time. Think about that. Piers Morgan denied that a genocide was going on forever. And it goes back to what I was saying about that debate that these people were having. That Israeli dude said straight up, Palestine isn't a state. Palestine doesn't exist. Nobody ever declared them a state. That's that Britain mentality. If Great Britain doesn't declare, if Westerners don't declare you a state, then you don't exist. You don't matter. So for years, for about a year and a half, people have been going on Piers Morgan's show telling him, bro, there's a genocide going on in Gaza. It's been going on for years, not just now. It's been going on for years. And he's been denying it. Denying it. I don't see it. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah. Just recently, he changed his mind. Now he's over there talking shit to all the pro-Israeli supporters and saying, hey, nah. My white eyes had witnessed a 3-month blockade. What the fuck is going on? 3 months since he witnessed a 3-month block. People done witnessed a 16-year, 20 years since 2005, 2006 when they pulled out, and then they put that blockade around Gaza. They've been seeing this for years. You finally seen it for 3 months, Piers, and you're like, oh yeah, that low key look genocidal. Get the fuck up out of here, bro. Nobody gives a shit what you want to say.
A terrorist regime. That's what you do.
All the perfume of Arabia will never clean those hands of your fears. Kill. Keep on the killing. Keep on justifying murder.
Right.
Keep on demonizing Iranians and Palestinians and Lebanese.
Right.
Keep on killing. Keep on.
You mad?
I demonize terrorists. What I do is demonize terrorists. And the main fulcrum, the main fulcrum of terrorism, the main terrorism for terrorism, which has been incredibly damaging to the people, to Palestinians, to Lebanese.
Yeah. You know what, Piers? You're full of shit, and you know it. Now, the beauty about this was Piers had his buddy on there. His buddy, George Calloway, I think that's his name. Don't let me lie to you. But George gave him the business. Oh, George gave Piers Morgan the business. Told him straight up, Piers, you know you full of shit. And you're doing it on purpose. And now you want to flip-flop and pretend like now you're part of the cause, but this whole time you have been a puppet for Israel.
That's Tony Blair. I hope you remember.
Naftali Bennett, what was your response to that interview?
Well, you did a good job as his Alistair Campbell to him as Tony Blair. I hope he remembers you if he does get into the Prime Minister's seat. I'm frankly astounded that you did not ask him about the bombing of the Iranian state TV station just a couple of hours ago. The mass murder of tea ladies, technicians, journalists and broadcasters. I can't believe that you didn't know about that.
Now watch how he's going to bring up the interview we just witnessed with Morandi. And this piece of shit, Piers Morgan, is going to pretend like he didn't hear about that bombing at that news station in Iran. Disgusting.
And indeed, Professor
Actually, I don't know
Morandi
about that.
was...
You've just told me that. So that's the answer to your question. I didn't know about it. I've been on air.
Well, you really need to be better briefed.
Well,
you're
okay,
interviewing a guy that you're punting.
You can have your views about that.
This is
in answer
very
to your
important.
question, I didn't know. So that's the answer to your question.
Well, you should have known.
Okay, well, you're a better journalist than me. You're a better broadcaster than me. I didn't know.
Professor Morandi was in that building. I don't know if he's dead, but the story is that he was in that building to do an interview with you, and I very much hope that that is not true. And I very much hope that he is still alive.
He told me that was true. He told me that he'd been told to leave, but had decided to stay and do the interview.
Oh, so you did know.
Which all he did was call me a liar, a coward, and a genocide enabler.
So you did know.
So you did know.
No, there was no bombing going on when I interviewed him, obviously, or I would have stopped the interview.
Piers, there's mass casualties.
Yes, George.
In the
You
Iranian
asked me if I
TV
knew
station.
it was going on when I interviewed him. I didn't.
No.
That you did not.
See, Piers is trying to pull a fast one. What George is saying, the interview Piers just had with the ex-Prime Minister of Israel, right before George came on, he did not mention the missiles that were dropped on the news station in Iran. He didn't mention it. He knows now, as of right now, he knows the story. He got off with Morandi and probably researched the story. Like, damn, this is the building? Oh shit, Morandi was right there. Oh damn, how many journalists died? He's pretending to be a journalist. He knows that story now. He's pretending that he didn't know it, and he didn't want to push back on the ex-prime minister because that's just who he is. He's a bad actor. So yes, George gonna give him the business. Galloway.
Didn't, or I would have
you
stopped.
might have been able to ask.
If I'd known, I would have stopped the interview, obviously.
Well, this is going to grow and grow as an issue, Piers. You may very well be in difficulty here.
I won't be in any difficulty at all.
Yes, he's a
Why don't we get on with the interview?
One thing you did know. One thing you...
Yeah, some countries did ban covering hair. There are some places... Now, I don't know how egregious the laws are. Some laws are more egregious than others. But wearing a hat in certain places is prohibited. That would be a form of banning hair coverage. Hell, you could wear a bandana anywhere. As soon as you walk in a building, they tell you to take it off. Banning hair coverage. If I wear a wave cap, hell, I can go to a restaurant. Some of them people are, hey man, no shoes, no shirt, no service, and plus that wave cap. Like, that's just a thing. So there is a form of hair cover banning, but some laws or some countries are more egregious with their laws. You know, you could be in contempt of court if you refuse to move your hat in court. They would sit there and say, all right, you don't want to remove it? Bam. We're going to find you in contempt of court, and you didn't even show up today. And if you had a court case to be heard today, you have to come back. And if we can put a bench warrant out on you because you were never here due to this contempt of court charge, due to you not wanting to take off your hat. That's called policing hair coverage.
Did know is that Israel has scores, if not hundreds, of nuclear weapons. And you did not mention it. Why is Israel allowed illegally to hold scores, if not hundreds, of nuclear weapons in defiance of the law, uninspected by any agency in Dimona. And reports today from Dimona are that they are currently modernizing their nuclear fleet.
Yes.
Don't you think that would have put in a better perspective
Yes.
this issue of nuclear weapons? The reason I know you know it is because the brave Jewish whistleblower Mordechai Vanunu, who blew the whistle on Israel's nuclear weapons, came first to the Daily Mirror and was betrayed by your enemy and mine, Robert Maxwell, to the Mossad, and then spent 22 years in prison in solitary confinement, and turned up in the courtroom with his jaws wired together like Hannibal Lecter, so he couldn't tell the courtroom what he'd told the Daily Mirror. Finally, the story appeared in Andrew Neil's Sunday Times, but only after Maxwell had betrayed him to the Mossad. So this issue of nuclear weapons, according to Tulsi Gabbard, Iran is not seeking to build a nuclear weapon.
Why would you believe them?
February.
Why would you believe them?
That. Look
Well,
at him.
I believe Tulsi Gabbard.
Why do you believe Iran?
No, I'm believing Tulsi
Given that
Gabbard
the atomic
here.
agency,
I'll come on to Iran.
Given that the
See?
atomic
Why
agency,
do you want to
hang
bash
on,
Tulsi
you've done enough
Gabbard?
talking. You've talked and talked and talked. Let me get a question in. The atomic agency, as you know, brought out a report in the last few days. It made it clear that Iran had lied, obfuscated, denied access,
So
not
did
allowed
Israel.
enough inspections, and that it now got uranium enriched to 60%, which is a massive stage forward from where they were at 3% a few years ago to now 60%. And the move from that to being able to create a nuclear weapon is actually much closer and therefore more potentially imminent as a threat. And I'm just curious.
Why did Trump rip up the Iran nuclear deal? And why people in the global south can't have a deterrent against Western aggression? Why? It's not making sense, Pierce. It's not. If you guys are okay with Kim Jong-un having his weapons, leave Iran alone.
Curious why you would trust Iran as far as you could throw it. The regime, not the people. The regime, when they are clearly accelerating their nuclear program, clearly accelerating their enrichment program,
Pierce,
why would you not be concerned about that?
Pierce, I trust Tulsi Gabbard, Donald Trump's director of national intelligence.
You do?
Don't you?
Well,
Don't you?
do? I'm surprised you do.
You don't? He's trying his hardest. That's that shit they do. Trump would do something stupid. They'd call him out on it, and they'd be like, "Oh, well, why did you even notice that? Where was you at?"
I don't know. I've interviewed her once in my life. I don't know whether to trust everything she says or not.
Well, you know that Donald Trump appointed her the director of national intelligence.
Exactly.
Why would you doubt her?
Look,
Isn't Trump your friend?
I'm not.
Think about that. This nigga George is taking the word of Tulsi Gabbard, not Iran. Tulsi Gabbard. Hey, Pierce. Hey, come here. Pay attention. You're trying to make him appear as if he supported Iran. And he's saying clear as day, nah. You didn't see Tulsi come up there with the little blonde streak in her hair in front of Congress and say straight up, hey man, we just checked and we're keeping a close eye on Iran's nuclear program, and it doesn't seem like they're on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon, at least not right now. You didn't see that shit? So he's asking, George is asking, you don't believe Tulsi? Because she's the one that offered that information.
Not doubting her or trusting her or untrusting her.
Does he appoint liars?
I'm asking you why you. I'm asking you why you trust the Iranian regime when they say they're not wanting to build a nuclear bomb.
Well, you're actually asking the wrong person for this reason. If I was running Iran, I would long ago have had a nuclear weapon.
Exactly.
Because Israel has scores or hundreds of them. And as you've just heard, is determined to bring about regime change in Iran. So you won't get me to clutch my pearls about Iran having nuclear weapons.
Why wouldn't you want regime change in Iran out of interest, given what a draconian, repressive, despicable regime?
Why would you want regime change
this old-fashioned
in Iran?
view. You once had it also in relation to the country next door, Iraq.
Yeah.
That the leadership in any country is the business of the people in that country. But if you've got a nuclear-armed superpower trying to change your regime, frankly, you're an idiot. You don't arm yourself to the maximum that you are capable of.
So you want to see Iran arming itself with nuclear weapons?
Well, Israel's got hundreds.
No, I'm asking you about Iran.
You've just been talking about the slaughter of the innocent.
I'm asking you about Iran.
Gaza.
Would you, George Galloway? It sounds to me like you, George Galloway, unlike the rest of the world, would like.
Bro, it's not working. It's not. He clearly said, George says, well, doesn't Israel have hundreds? Piers is still like, yeah, we're not saying, yeah, I don't care, yeah. You are okay with nuclear-powered Iran? Bro, either everybody have them or nobody has them. That should be it. That should be it. Who are you to say, hey, Iran is getting closer to a nuclear weapon and we can't have that? Who are you? Who the fuck are you? And when we say, all right, I feel you, bro, that is like a detriment to humanity, right? If you blew up, a nuclear bomb, I mean, the surrounding countries will be affected, right? The crops, nigga, we won't be able to grow food and something. You're right. But why is Israel allowed nuclear weapons? I don't know. I don't want to answer that. Shut up. Don't ask me that question no more. Get the fuck out of here, nigga.
Like to see Iran arming itself with nuclear weapons, to which I say you've lost your marbles.
Piers, there you go again. Unlike the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Do you really think that you speak for the rest of the world?
You don't speak for the rest of the world.
Beans creatine is America's number one.
That's the thing. You do not speak for the rest of the world.
At Wells Fargo.
So I don't know who the hell you think you're talking
Alice
to.
Started
Most of the world
because
disagrees
she loves
with
facade.
your views on Israel, right? Now, I take your comment.
It's a real problem.
I hear you. Tulsi Gabbard is an ass-kissing, yeah. You're right.
For a product of this world.
But at the end of the day, she has a job to do,
and use
right?
The promo code Piers.
Is she
30%.
lying to the American people about the intelligence that she uncovered? You're right. She is a lapdog and all that for the Trump administration. Yeah, you're right. Ass kissing, liquor. Yes, you're right. I don't fuck with her either. But is she lying when she offered the intelligence that Iran is not closer today as they were 30 years ago to making a nuclear bomb? I can take y'all, because I have the same feeling that George has. I can take y'all fear of that 2% enriched uranium going to 60% and it being something alarming. I get that. But if she is not to be believed, you can't keep going on Iran. Oh, that's Iran. You believe Iran? That's the same shit they do with the UN numbers. The UN would say, there's 60,000 dead Palestinians in Gaza. They'd be like, that's Hamas. It's Hamas. The UN is Hamas too. And the ICJ. They're all Hamas. Shut up. Not working. So, yes, I agree with you. But is she lying to us about saying that Iran is not closer to making a weapon? I don't know. But we're going to go off of her, not Iran.
Take those four countries out of it, or Pakistan.
Listen,
right? But
Iran
actually, yes,
is
most of the world has a real problem with the concept of Iran.
Right. Like they don't have the right to defend themselves.
You,
Iran don't have the right to defend themselves.
No, it's not just for me. Iran is presently the hero of the vast majority of people in the world.
Oh, rubbish.
And it's
Absolute
the fact
rubbish.
that you can't
right.
see
What a
that.
load of absolute
Piers,
nonsense.
They
take
are.
your eyes off the post.
Billions of people. Billions of people. Muslim. They support Islam. Piers is saying, oh, you, George, you're dumbass. The rest of the world doesn't agree with you. Bro, you're lying. You know how many Muslims run this world or in this world, bro? There's a lot of white Muslims. They're not just brown Muslims. There's a lot of Asian Muslims. Just like Jewish. You know, there's white Jews and Asian Jews and black Jews. But go to the pen. Go to any penitentiary in the United States. Every brother is Muslim. They don't eat swine. They done got converted. They done heard some shit. They read the Quran. They started thinking like, this sounds a little bit better than this Christianity shit.
Absolute
of the
nonsense.
tiny part of the
Nonsense.
world, which is the Western world.
You think that
Africa
currently
is with
most
Iran.
of the world, you think the rest of the world is,
America is with Iran.
you think the rest of the world
China is with Iran.
Yeah, who?
Russia is with Iran.
Russia,
All the
China,
Arabs are with Iran.
Russia, China,
Take
any
your
other
nose out of the ass
North Korea?
of the tiny number of people that you think are the world. They're not the world. The world is 8 billion people.
Right.
You're speaking for the little clique that leads a tiny fraction.
No. Listen. Monkey wrench. Listen to me. Your name was outlawed a while ago due to some liberals feeling like it was insensitive to black folks. So that's a different conversation. But I agree with you. We're on like the same page. I don't believe America propaganda. No. I don't believe that Iran told the truth. No. I don't think Iran have to tell the truth to anybody. Especially when Israel has not declared that they had a nuclear program. Especially since nobody is pressuring Israel to explain how many nukes they have. Iran, if I was Iran, like George said, nigga, I would have gave y'all a fake ass number. Get the fuck out of my face. So yes, I don't think there's a 250 acre out of nowhere. No, that shit probably been there since the early 90s. But why would they tell us? No. So yes, I believe that they lied.
Of fewer than 1 billion of the people of the world.
So just to be clear,
cannot see
as
beyond the end of your nose.
As I suggested, then you want to put up as a defense for Iran that they're supported by China, Russia.
Okay.
Did you mention North Korea?
Okay.
That's a lot of people, isn't it?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a lot of people.
But are they the kind of people in terms of their own regime?
Think about it. Those 3 countries, China, Russia, North Korea. What do they have in common? Nuclear deterrence. Piers, you're British. We get it. Piers, we get it. Every time y'all went around the world thinking you were doing some like innocent ass conquests. Oh, no. Those weren't like innocent fucking arrivals that people of that land looked at y'all as. No, they seen y'all as a threat. Y'all knew you were a threat. You know you're a threat. Y'all used to bring drugs in the Bible and get the whole land sick and then say, here's a cure, but the cure was in that book right there. Y'all tried that shit in China. The first Opium War. Think about it. Ask these motherfuckers who won the first Opium War. Ask any Brit. Just ask them. Think about it. Think about follow me. Think about the logic of the first Opium War. And think about why we're fighting Hispanics in America today. Great Britain tried to bring drugs over the border of China. China said no. They noticed that the people in Hong Kong, they was getting hooked on the shit, right? The Filipinos, they was getting hooked on the shit. They was like, you ain't bringing that shit over there to me. No. It started a whole fucking war. Ask yourself, why were these Brits bringing drugs to somebody else's country? And of course, we can talk about dispute over territory or who won the first Opium War, but I don't think there would have been a second Opium War if Britain won the first one. But whatever, we'll let the history books tell us. But one thing that did not happen, China did not get colonized. Sorry. And you British folks who love y'all tea, the price of tea in China is whooping y'all ass, and you don't even want to tell the truth. It's all right though. We'll study that some other time. Yeah.
Teams that we should be taking as good supporters of these benevolent people in Tehran.
You're living under Keir Starmer's regime, for God's sake. You're going to
Exactly.
blame the British
Good for the goose, good for the
Keir
gander.
Starmer? The French are living under little Macron.
Right.
When did you get the right to decide that 7/8 of the world's population cannot be considered valid because you, Piers Morgan, don't like their regimes?
That's
Listen,
that's that British mentality. Oh, sorry. I'm the Brit. I'm white, and I said so.
And you must also have known about that, unless you switch your mobile off at 10 o'clock at night.
Hey, shout out to the newest subscriber. I appreciate
Iran is
it.
giving Israel a bloody good hiding every single night.
It's not though, is it?
Described it all.
It's not though, is it?
You described it all
It's not though.
as a wonderful military operation
as
being
always,
conducted by Israel.
let me answer you. As always, the Iranian regime has put out apocalypse.
Hey, I love your name, man. I'm a carpenter. I love your name. I do a lot of things from carpentry to electrical, and I remember when the liberals came in and they started to change the names of certain tools like the monkey wrench, which was insensitive to some people, and the dike. I don't know if you know what dikes are, the wire snippers, right? Well, we couldn't call them dikes. We know why we call them dikes, right? You know, they don't scissor shit. But we get it. But I respect the fact that you I do want to check your channel out. If your channel's all about guns, I'm a gun guy, and I appreciate you being a subscriber, man. Please like this video and share it, and hopefully I can get more of you.
Statements about this will be the annihilation of Israel and everything. It's like it did the last time. And you know what happened last time?
Oh shit! We got another ad. Now there's a key point in this interview that I wanted to get to. There's a key point in this interview that I wanted to get to because I want to get to this video, the end of this, and there's another interview
and the dome dealt with them.
that I want to get to.
This time they've got a few missiles have got through the dome. But the idea, hang on, let me finish my question. The idea that the Israeli Air Force have managed to inflict this kind of catastrophic damage on military commanders, nuclear scientists, nuclear sites, and all of this, and have control of the airwaves in Tehran. And the only response so far has been a few missiles that got past the dome.
Missiles?
A few missiles.
You say they've been pounding them. They've not been
Thank you.
pounding
You've seen
Israel.
Haifa?
Thank
They've
you.
not been pounding Israel.
You are astounded. This is something else you don't know. You didn't know about Morandi. You didn't know about the TV station.
I knew what
and you
Morandi
don't
told
know
me.
that Iran
I knew what
is
Morandi told me.
pulverizing Israel.
I knew what
every
Professor
single
Morandi told
night.
me.
4
Just to be
nights
clear.
in
I'm sorry. That was my argument for like 5 hours on X. You got these pro-Israeli motherfuckers talking about, I'm in Tel Aviv right now. What are you talking about? They sending pictures of their backyard and shit like, look, ain't nothing on fire. It's like, wait, do y'all not know what's going on? You didn't know Tel Aviv was on fire? Come on, Piers, man.
I don't know about
Just to be
I'll
clear.
tell you who I believe.
Just to be
You're asking
clear.
about belief.
Just to be clear.
I believe the
Just to be
mayor
clear,
of Tel Aviv.
Sorry, if I may
The mayor of
finish,
Tel Aviv,
just
right.
responding
Can I
to
That's
quote
who he
Israeli? I believe the mayor of Tel Aviv, a former director of intelligence in the Israeli army, now the elected mayor of Tel Aviv, who says this has got to stop We cannot win this war. That's the mayor of Tel Aviv. I can believe him.
I see
or I
zero
can believe Piers
evidence.
Morgan.
There is zero evidence that Israel can't win this war as things stand. Zero.
Damn.
Well,
Most of
Fuck the mayor.
90% of the damage is being inflicted by Israel onto Iran.
Piers.
Pure nonsense, Piers. Why
Why are you so deluded, George? Why are you so deluded?
George
Why is your
George
pathological
is hot. He's like, damn, bro, the mayor of Tel Aviv even said we can't handle this shit. Pierce, listen. I get it. You're a puppet for Israel, but listen. The mayor of Tel Aviv said the citizens can't handle these hypersonic ballistic missiles. And you're sitting here in your fucking comfortable ass studio talking about ain't no bombs going off in Israel. Bro, you are so fucking out of touch and shield from reality.
And all things Israel made you so deluded.
Is this something
Hey, I
else you
appreciate
don't
it,
know?
man. I appreciate it.
Do you know that Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon are right this minute on TV debating how if
Shout out to
Trump
my baby Multi.
gives in to Netanyahu's, begging him to join in and save the day,
Right.
that it will be the end of the Trump presidency,
Right.
that it will split MAGA down the middle. Do you not know that either?
You don't know that
No,
one either?
why would I know that? I've been on air.
Oh my god. Oh my god, he's playing dumb.
If you're really...
Why do you
He's
expect me to
playing
know
dumb.
things when I'm literally
unaware.
interviewing
No,
people
you playing
like
dumb.
I made the mistake, Piers, of thinking you were a well-informed man.
I am.
Yeah.
But when I'm
about
actually
issues-
filming my show,
about
it's
issues-
quite hard to keep
about
up with
issues.
world
Well,
events.
don't you have someone that can pass you a note?
I've got lots of
tell
people
you-
that do a brilliant job. That's why I have
Don't you have
one of the most
someone who
popular
can
shows in the
talk
world.
in your ear?
Yeah, it's why my show's a lot more popular than yours.
Oh, here we
'Cause
go.
I'm better at it than you. So stop the lectures
my
about
show
how
better.
good a journalist I am, or how good a broadcaster I am, or how good my team are. Because if you were so good, George, you'd have a lot more people
better.
following you, a lot more people watching you. But most people think
My
you
dad is
become
bigger
a
than your
delusional
dad.
loon.
Yeah.
And I think that's
My dad-
sad.
My dad is bigger than your dad.
Yeah.
My dick
Not my
is
dad,
bigger
just the
than
number
your
of people
dick.
that watch my show massively dwarfs yours.
My dick is bigger than your dick. Are you
Ah,
really down
probably.
to that, Piers? Well, I've got some evidence that it isn't, but I'll not go there because
George.
I'm actually astounded
Yo.
at the sheer ignorance, which I'm being
Oh,
very
fuck.
kind and calling it ignorance. I
George
could
said
easily
it.
call it lying. I could easily call it willful.
Yes. Yes, he is detached from reality. Yes, that's what George is like, dumbfounded. Like, bro, what? I just sat here on your show and gave you information that as a journalist, you should have this information already. If you don't have the information already, at least do you have somebody that can hand you a note? None of this? This is, and your answer is, so what? My show bigger than yours, bro. like, you just want to ah. And I get it. Pierce is backed into that corner. He's backed into a corner of not having the knowledge needed to handle this conversation. He want to be a propagandist so bad, but he don't want to be incorrect. And the way he be incorrect is by spewing shit on something he has no knowledge of. So George is like, well, then you better tell him to slide you a note, get in your ear. That way we can have this debate, but don't just sit here and brush me off and say, that's why my show bigger than yours. Come on, man. You's a sucker for that. Come on, man.
Ignorance.
Of course you can.
That you didn't know there's tea ladies lying dead in the Iranian TV station.
To be
and
clear,
you interviewed Bennett.
That shit, wow.
Didn't even
To be
mention
clear,
it to him.
To be clear, I'm being told by my team
Yeah.
in my ear,
Yeah.
as we speak, that outside of Iran, there has been no independent verification of what you are saying. So you are
on
believing.
television,
So you
Piers.
are believing the
It's
words
on
of the
television.
Iranian
Open your phone.
regime.
Fuck.
Forgive me.
See the video.
Forgive me.
Mind you, I just played it for y'all. This is the video talking about when the news lady, the journalist, was on the news live when Israeli bombed the fucking station. she had to evacuate. It was live. We all seen it. Piers, with his bigger show than George, finally gets a joker in his ear to tell him, yeah, we heard about it, but the only corroborating witnesses was people from Iran, so we don't even know if it really happened. So since these are Iranians, the video that we all witnessed was fake. That's why, Piers, that's why you guys are losing the PR battle. You're losing it.
If I will wait for independent corroboration before believing what the Iranian regime says. You don't believe that are an Iranian
Marandi.
regime stooge
You don't believe
who believes
that
anything they
Professor
say.
Marandi, your frequent guest, that gentleman, was bombed.
He's not a gentleman.
Today.
Oh my God.
He's not a gentleman. He's not a gentleman. Oh. I think most of the people who've ever watched him think he's a gentleman.
No, I don't think he's a gentleman. I think he's a very disingenuous man who spews a lot of bullshit.
They don't think he's lying, Piers.
No.
They don't think he's lying.
Nobody
thinks he's lying. George. They do. They do.
Do y'all think he's lying when he said he was
Miranda
bombed in the Iranian TV station today?
He wasn't bombed. He was on air talking to me. What are you talking about?
There's footage.
How was he bombed and talking to me?
Every media platform.
He was talking to me.
Of the TV station.
How on earth was he being bombed?
Anyway,
as he talked to me. Complete nonsense, man.
He can't keep up.
If you were injured in an accident,
I
why would you
love
call
this.
anyone but the Richard
Piers
Harris Law
cannot
Firm?
keep
We
up.
fight for the largest possible settlement in every case.
No, he can keep up. He's being facetious. He can keep up. He's doing it on purpose. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He wasn't bombed. What you mean he was bombed? He was over here with me. How would he be on the interview with me if he was bombed? I hate this motherfucker.
Your dick is so much bigger than my dick. As your dad is so much
Yes,
bigger
there's
than
live
my
videos
dad,
of it.
and
Like,
as
come on,
your
tell
television program is so much bigger and better than mine,
Yeah.
I'll say goodnight to you because I have rather more wholesome people.
Oh, you're running
to
away.
Talk to.
Okay.
No, I'm not running
You're
away,
running
but
away.
I won't be coming back.
Yeah.
Because I made the mistake of thinking that you were an honest man.
Tell
In fact, you're a slippery.
Well, it's okay, because I never made
disingenuous-
that mistake with you. So don't worry about it. I never made that mistake with you, George. I always thought you were thoroughly disingenuous, and you
Look at how
prop
George
up
looking
these
at him.
evil regimes
George ready to
for reasons
slap
that completely
this
baffle me.
motherfucker.
And you think you're
Is that
the
why
right
you- is
guy.
that why
You think
every
you're the
single
honest
week-
guy. And actually,
Is
you
that
know what?
why
You're the
every week you
kind of
ask
guy
me
that
onto your
one
show,
minute you
Piers?
call me a rat, the next minute I'm your hero and you're praising me. It's like, it's pathetic.
Is that why you ask
Pathetic.
me
It's
onto
getting
your
serious.
show every
Crap.
single week, Piers?
Sorry?
Every single week. I've got the texts.
Yeah, I got
Every single week you ask me onto your show because I'm all these
Hey,
things
hey,
you just
producer,
accused me
please.
of.
Hey, is he right? Is he wrong?
I don't
Producer.
mind having you on to challenge you, no problem.
When is the last time I asked George to get on the show?
Every week.
You came on, I think you apparently
You
last
ask
week.
me
We last
every
asked
week.
you on
I've got
6
the
weeks ago.
text.
Why are you lying? We haven't
I've
asked
got
you
the
for 6
text.
weeks.
Yeah, I got it.
We haven't asked you on for 6 weeks.
Hey,
Every
it was 6 weeks ago. It wasn't
3rd
that.
of May we asked you last time. 3rd of May. You're
Your
lying.
dick may be bigger
You're
than
lying,
mine.
George.
Your
3rd
dick
of
may
May.
be bigger than
3rd of
mine.
May.
Said it again.
Your show may be
6.5,
bigger
7
than
weeks
mine.
ago.
But I'll
George.
tell you what, Piers, you're a busted flush.
You know what?
Fucking George. That's what I was saying. That shit was killing me. Because I seen most of it. And when he said that shit, I had to do something else. And I'm like, wait a minute. Did this motherfucker really say to Piers Morgan, my dick bigger than yours? Bro, how dare you come over here and tell me about your ratings, you piece of shit. You still a piece of little pecker shit, bitch. Oh, that shit was hilarious. Now, I wanted to get to this interview because it was about it was the same interview that Professor Marandi had did with Piers, but it was my boy Mehdi Hasan. Mehdi Hasan had came on at the end of the whole spiel to give his take, and the way Mehdi dropped all these facts for Piers is crazy because he does the same old deflection game. Now, mind you, this isn't like Ayatollah fucking messenger. This isn't Mr. Pro-Hamas. Nah, this is Mehdi Hassan. You know, this is somebody that's a friend of yours who is trying to give you a nuanced perspective of what's going on, and you still got your head in your ass.
On Uncensored. Last time he came on recently, we reached agreement over what is going on in Gaza. I concurred with your view that it was now crossing almost every line. It wasn't just my view, the view of former Israeli prime ministers, of allies of Israel, and so on. But we have a separate situation here. And I'm just curious, I've seen what you've been saying publicly about this Israel attack on Iran. If you're Israel and you see that report from the Atomic Agency, which appears to suggest that Iran has been lying, obfuscating, covering up, not allowing proper inspections and so on, and now appears to have reached 60% enrichment of uranium, which is the next stage it can reach, where now it can be imminent, it can be within months that it could potentially get to nuclear power. Can you at least, without agreeing with it, can you understand why Israel has felt threatened by that report?
So, Piers, thanks for having me back, and I'm glad you started by asking about the IAEA report, because I know you brought it up with your panel as well. And I just want your viewers at home to be clear, because you described it accurately a moment ago, what the report says. I've read the 22-page report, came out May 31st, declassified. But on Friday, I was disappointed to see you tweeting about, you said the report exposes an imminent nuclear threat from Iran, which could justify a preemptive strike. What we saw on Thursday night from Israel was not a preemptive strike. It was a preventive strike, which is illegal under international law. It's what George Bush and the neocons claimed the Iraq war was against Saddam Hussein, which you and I opposed, rightly so. And that IAEA report does not expose an imminent nuclear threat. It says what you just said it says. It says that they haven't been cooperating very well. It says their level of cooperation has been, quote, less than satisfactory. It says some of their technical answers about their program have lacked credibility. It says they've impeded some of the inspecors.
Don't upload your videos to YouTube.
Hey, that's what happens when you do it live and you don't want to give YouTube money. It's okay. I got love for you though, YouTube. One day, we'll see.
Stream where we will live stream it to YouTube.
But you see that little skip button? I like that little skip button. It's very convenient.
It says that they were working on some kind of military program pre-2003, which is what US intelligence has also said. Those are all bad things, Piers. You and I can both agree those are bad things, and Iran should not be doing those things. And the IAEA board voted to say they're in breach of their obligations. But that's not an imminent nuclear threat. The report does not say Iran poses an imminent nuclear threat. Your tweet was wrong on Friday.
I think it was wrong. When it says 60% enrichment of uranium, it's the next stage that somebody who wants to create a nuclear bomb, right? So imminent, look, what do I mean by imminent? As I said in the panel, it can be weeks, months, a year, whatever. But they've reached a stage.
Your tweet was wrong.
But they have the capability to take it to another stage and create a bomb.
Yes. So let's find more agreement between us. I agree. That is capability, right? They have enough highly enriched uranium to build up to 9 bombs, I believe. They have 400 kilograms of uranium.
So that is an imminent threat if it's in the wrong hands, right? We can agree on that.
Here we go. It's in the brown hands. They're in brown hands.
Because having a civil nuclear program is totally fine. Having enriched uranium is fine. The issue is if you weaponize it and have a weapons program. And Tulsi Gabbard, no friend of radical Islam, Donald Trump's director of national intelligence, said in March that the US intelligence community's consensus view is that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, does not have a nuclear weapon, has not authorized a nuclear weapons program. The IAEA peers in that report, you must have seen the line in their summary, said there are no credible indications of an ongoing, undeclared, structured nuclear program. Even the IAEA says there's no nuclear weapons program. Their boss, the IAEA chief, Pierce, said last week, you cannot attack nuclear facilities in Iran. So, no, it's not an imminent threat. And under international law, Pierce, this is the key point. If a weapon is a year away, you cannot say we're under imminent threat. That does not give you a right to self-defense.
No, it
Otherwise,
doesn't.
everyone in the world would go around just bombing people. You and I oppose Russia's invasion of Ukraine. We agree on that, right? Putin claimed that Ukraine would one day attack Russia with NATO support. That's why I'm doing it. That was a bullshit argument. You and I rejected Putin's bullshit argument in Ukraine. You and I have rejected the Israeli bullshit argument now in Gaza. You don't believe what they're saying about Gaza.
That's true,
I don't know why you're believing them on this when you were rightly calling out the bullshit from the UK and the US
bullshit.
in
Tell
2003 over Iraq. Saddam Hussein was not an imminent threat, and Iran was not an imminent threat, and Israel attacked them illegally last week while there were nuclear negotiations going on, Piers. One last point. If Israel cared about stopping a nuclear weapon, you would go back into a nuclear deal that prevents Iran from a weapon. And guess who they killed on Thursday night? Not just generals, Piers. They killed Ali Shamkhani, the lead nuclear negotiator who was supposed to be in Oman yesterday with the Americans and who went on NBC a month ago and said, we're very close to a deal, we're willing to give up highly enriched uranium.
But Trump did say, didn't he? Trump did say, but hang on the deal, Trump said, look, you've got 60 days, right? And Israel attacked on day 61. In other words, they gave Iran to negotiate. That is what Trump said.
What comes to mind?
Israel attacked on Thursday. Israel attacked Iran on Thursday. We had a meeting on Sunday. We had the meeting on Sunday to come back to the table to renegotiate and all that shit. On Thursday, Benjamin Netanyahu was like, shit, it's getting close. We got to do something. If him and Trump talk the way Hamas and Trump talk, shit, there might be something good coming out of this. Drop the bomb on these niggas. Oh, my God. Shit. It's nigga Piers, man.
Oh, yeah? Why were they meeting in Iran on Sunday, then?
Well,
if there were only 60 days, why were the Americans supposed to be meeting yesterday?
All I'm saying is, it is a fact, the sequence of events.
Answer the quiz.
Hang on.
It's not a fact, though, is it? It's not a fact.
Answer the question.
Trump said 60
Sunday,
days.
were they not?
It is a fact. He said 60 days.
But that's a lie, because but that wasn't a 60 days, otherwise we bomb you. That was Netanyahu. By the way, let's be clear.
I agree.
Netanyahu wants this war more than Trump.
I agree. I'm just saying that Netanyahu did wait. He did wait till day 61.
No, he didn't.
60 days, get a deal done.
No, because why was there a nuclear negotiation scheduled on Sunday between the Americans and the Iranians, which is now not happening? Who benefits from that?
Hey, how many of y'all have whatever set up? Doesn't matter what it is. It could be, hell, it could be bills. It could be a light bill. It could be your mortgage. Hey, your mortgage is due on the 1st. That's it. Your mortgage is due on the 1st of the month. You know it. You've been doing it. I don't give a fuck. If you just found out today, it's due on the 1st. Who has ever been evicted on the 2nd? Who missed their payment on the 1st and by the 2nd was kicked out their apartment or their house? Nobody. For this motherfucker Piers Morgan to sit here and say, oh, well, we gave him 60 whole days. Yo, we gave him 60 whole days. They didn't attack him until the 61st. Mind you. Don't we can't like. What if it's like when you go to jail and you gotta see the judge? The weekends don't count, right? We gotta like prolong this to the following Monday, right? Like, but on 61 days, Piers P. Brain thinks, oh well, hey, they're in violation. Sorry, I don't care. Yeah, I know. The meeting's coming up in 2-3 days, but we on day 61. Oh my God.
Netanyahu, the hawks who want a war. They don't want a deal. Otherwise you wouldn't kill
unless
the
you think that Trump tacitly wants this to happen, which he might well do.
Maybe. I mean, I don't try and mind read Trump. You can. You know him better than me. The man's a liar. He's erratic. He's unhinged. Who knows? I mean, he claims to be anti-war. Remember all that bullshit? I came on your show last week, Piers. How many times did I hear people
shrinking like
telling me bullshit about Trump being anti-war? He went to Michigan and said, I won't get involved in a war in the Middle East. And here we are now.
Yes.
Several hundred people dead in Israel and Iran. Completely preventable conflict, done with Trump's blessing. And as I say, if you're worried about highly enriched uranium, blame Trump, right? He tore up the nuclear deal in 2018, Peter.
Yes.
In 2018, Iran was enriching uranium at what percentage? 3.67%. And the IAEA said, yep, we verify it. We have no complaints. We verify that Iran is in accordance with this deal. And Trump tore it up. And today, 60% highly enriched uranium, 400 kilograms. That's on Donald Trump. We had the JCPOA.
But aren't you just, if you don't mind me saying, aren't you just explaining very articulately why Israel has got so twitchy about this? It's gone from 3% to 60, as you said. That's not a small
but who did that, right? You
can blame who you like. You can blame who you like, but the way you described that sounded to me like you were presenting a fast-moving, imminent threat.
No.
This is the one who helps everyone stay safe.
Oh shit, Piers, just leave it alone, bro. Leave it alone. Everybody needs
it's a good
nuclear
question. Let me answer it.
now.
No, what I was presenting was that there was a deal that worked. Trump and the Israelis tore up the deal that worked. Now Iran is definitely, you and I have already agreed, that they have potential to be closer to a bomb today than they were in 2018.
Right.
So the solution is not then to go to war and increase the chances of Iran rushing for a bomb. The solution is to go back into a deal, to negotiate an agreement. Piers, just for your viewers, there are only two ways. Every military expert agrees, every US general agrees. There's only two ways to stop Iran from having a nuclear bomb. Number one is to invade and occupy the country and destroy every facility yourself. Number two is to have an agreement in which Iran agrees to stop enriching uranium at 60% or 90%.
Right.
Those are the two options.
I don't agree with that.
If other people prefer invasion
There's actually
or
a third option because
what's the third option? What is it?
Well, the third option is doing exactly what Israel's doing now, which is using air power, controlling the skies over Tehran, and using intelligence gathered by Mossad, apparently, reportedly, and using specific intelligence to target specific commanders, scientists, and nuclear sites.
That's
the third option.
I feel the same way. That shit was funny.
That's not a third option because it doesn't stop the nuclear program. All it does is delay it. And in fact,
Be honest, Mehdi. Have you spoken to any military? I've got two former British Army colonels in my family. I ran this past them earlier. Both of them thought this was justified.
Who
are the military commanders you've talked to who do not think this is justified?
Really?
Admiral Mike McMullen, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under George W. Bush, said there's no way you can get rid of Iranian nuclear program without boots on the ground. And by the way, you know who said on Friday? Israel's own national security advisor said on Friday, there is no kinetic solution to this.
He's
Air
pro
power
Hamas.
cannot do this, right?
Mehdi,
because some of their facilities are underground.
Doesn't matter.
Because scientists who killed can be replaced, right? You cannot end Iran's nuclear program via bombing. And by the way, Israel tried this before in 1981. They always hold it up as some great example. They bombed Saddam's nuclear facility in Osirak. Everyone who studied that since, nuclear scientists, weapons experts, say that actually that didn't delay Saddam's bomb. It accelerated Saddam's interest in nuclear weapons. He actually launched a covert nuclear program at another site over the next 9 years till obviously the Iraq invasion of Kuwait, right? So
you're right. At first, Trump did pretend like he didn't know shit about it. And then he's going to turn around and be like, oh, yeah. Oh, I was briefed on it way ahead of time. Like, these people act like we're not watching in real time what the fuck is going on. We see you. We see you, bro. You flip-flopping. You're rushing out of G7 summits. You're lying to the American people. You got most of our... I don't know if y'all seen Jon Stewart. Oh, fuck. Jon Stewart's take on the parade, the little birthday shit. Oh, my God. The way these tanks were squeaking. And these servicemen, they waving. It was pathetic, right? And John, the way this, because we all looked at it the same way, right? And John had played a clip of Fox News talking about, if I was Iran and I was watching this right now, I would think twice. It was the most pathetic shit, and that's that American white Eurocentric hubris, arrogance that they feel like how Piers Morgan say, oh, well, there's a third option. Just keep doing what we're doing. Control the air, bomb them, kill them. We're strong Westerners. Bro, y'all not scaring nobody. We're not scaring nobody. I remember in the beginning of this conflict in October 7th, Israel was trying to recruit soldiers to fight. They were trying to recruit American citizens. And one of their videos to recruit motherfuckers, bro, it was like some Instagram models with a fucking AR-15 talking about we're making the military sexy or some shit. Bro, it was the weirdest shit, right? But it was a flock of them, right? And they all like moving their hair and shit, right? And I'm sitting here like, mind you, we watched Hamas do what they did, right? A whole bunch of military soldiers coming over here, snatching motherfuckers up, throwing people on their shoulder while they holding a hostage on their shoulder. They holding the other, they holding the motorcycle with the other hand, and they trying to get up out of there, right? Real life people who train for this shit. And Israel sending out a Craigslist ad to recruit a bunch of Instagram models. Bro, nobody's intimidated by America's military or the IDF. Shit.
So put yourself, Piers, you asked me a question at the beginning. It was a great question. Put yourself in Israel's shoes. We should always have empathy for whoever it is, enemies, allies. Let me ask the question back to you. Put yourself in the shoes of an Iranian official sitting in Tehran today who looks at a map of the region and sees Israel with nukes, Russia with nukes, Pakistan with nukes, India with nukes, nuclear-armed America next door in Iraq. You want nuclear weapons? I'm against nukes.
Yeah, but if you're the regime, but Mehdi,
if you look at,
but Mehdi, you wouldn't dispute.
Would you not think it's rational to have nukes?
My response would be you wouldn't dispute.
Like, all of y'all got nukes. Why I can't have a nuke? I feel like the neighbor on the block without my Ring camera.
Here.
Like, why y'all got Ring cameras and I ain't got a Ring camera? And then when I try to get my Ring camera, y'all gonna rally behind me and y'all gonna blow up my motherfucking house because I dared to get a Ring camera? No, not fair.
Have been fueling for a long period of time Hamas, the Houthis, Hezbollah. And I presume you wouldn't also dispute that the tactical attack on Hezbollah through the pages, 3,000 of them targeted in a very precise way, that has led to Hezbollah basically throwing the towel in and saying we're not going to get engaged in this war with Iran, which is a very significant moment in this whole war, I would argue.
If your question is, has Israel degraded Iran's supports abroad, its proxies, 100%. That's irrelevant to the rightness or wrongness of this. I'm asking you to put yourself in the position of an Iranian
proxies want to kill Israelis,
government.
Right? So that's why I think that Israel has a right.
Let's not get... Well, as you've agreed, Israel's doing much of the killing right now. But let me just ask you this. Again, Ukraine gave up nukes, got invaded.
Yep.
Saddam Hussein gave up nukes, got invaded and executed.
Yep.
Gaddafi gave up chemical weapons, got invaded, raped and killed. Again, if you're the Iranians, are you not looking at this thinking, this means we need nukes? I would rather not give them an incentive to go get nuclear weapons. I'm anti-nuclear weapons for anyone. So I don't want Iran to have nukes. But the best way for Iran not to have nukes is not to attack them. That makes countries want to have nukes more. It's just rational to go, oh, the countries who have nukes like North Korea, they don't get invaded. So why give them an incentive to get more nukes? Why not actually have a weapons of mass destruction-free region? You know which country does have nukes in the Middle East? Israel. In violation of UN Security Council resolutions. You know which country doesn't allow IAEA inspectors into the country? Israel. You know which country hasn't signed the NPT, unlike Iran? Israel. We should talk about Israel's nuclear weapons, which actually incentivize others in the regions, not just Israel, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, to think about nuclear weapons of their own. I'd rather not have more nukes in the Middle East.
What you got to say, Pierce?
Mehdi Hasan, great to have you back. Thank you.
No. That's that bullshit. See? Kicked him off. Soon as he came over there with all the facts. Like, hey, bro, you know, Israel the only one that's in violation of letting everybody know their weapons program. What do you think about that? Mehdi Hasan, thank you for coming on the show. It was great. Bro, that's what everybody is saying. How are they allowed to play by a different set of rules. How? And we allow it. We allow it. I didn't know that there was an organization that comes into your country and check your weapons and make sure that you're doing that shit the correct way. Didn't know that. And I agree with it. Like, shit, we don't want them to have nuclear weapons anyway, because fuck, bye humanity. But if there's a group of people that may come by periodically throughout the decade to check and see what stage it's at, if it's still contained perfectly, if the surrounding areas isn't in danger, I'm okay with that. But why is Israel the only country who don't have to disclose that information? So yes, we got an update. Iran call. I don't know what this means. I just want to check it out. U.S. not going to bail them out. Let's see what's going on. This is Fox News. I want to see what Fox News have to say, because I love they bias ass take. They think that Iran gonna lose this one, and Israel know Iran is gonna win this one if they don't get America help. So Fox News is basically trying to deal with the Trump supporters that don't want this fight and who do want this fight. So let's see what Fox News update is about this conflict, because yeah, we're gonna be following this shit for a while.
Senator Josh Hawley and find out how he feels about all this. Senator, so many moving parts. Your sense of where this whole conflict is going?
Well, I think Iran is in a really tough spot here, entirely of their own making. They're not used to having a president who doesn't try to bribe them with stuff like Obama did, or kowtow to him and give him freebies like Biden did. They've got a president here who puts America first, who's going to do what's in America's best interests. And I think Trump's been really clear. Iran's not going to get a nuke. So they can either come to the table and surrender their nuclear program freely, peaceably, as Trump is offering, or they can face Israel on their own.
Do you think there's a danger of not allowing Israel to finish the job?
Yes. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Here we go with more cockiness. More cockiness by Josh Hawley. Listen to what he's saying. Listen to what... They think that they have this in the bag.
Those be all for naught unless they can get rid of the entire nuclear program. That includes Fordo.
I think that President Trump, I trust him on this. I think he has handled this situation very, very deftly. And my view is that he's going to continue to put America's security interests first. He's given Israel a lot of space to protect themselves, which is what they're doing, to put their security interests, make sure that Israel sees to its own security interests. I think that's entirely appropriate. And I think the president here is continuing to be consistent, saying Iran's not getting a nuke. And if Iran wants to come to the table and surrender their nuclear program, the United States is here to help that. Otherwise, Iran is not going to get any cover from the United States. We're not going to bail them out of this. We're not going to protect them like previous American presidents, frankly, have done.
Here's what the president said a short time ago to a reporter when asked.
Why would Iran want that?
What specifically is better than a ceasefire? What are you looking for here? And then a real end, not a ceasefire. And then
look how he's hanging on that door.
Or giving up entirely. That's okay too. Is that possible in the next 24 Why not? Certainly possible. Complete give up. That's possible.
So that's not the tone the president had a few days ago. I think he's fed up. And if they're going to sit down with the president.
He about to fall. You see how he's holding on to the side of that? Like, bro, go to bed. My wife said it. You look tired, bro. Go to bed.
Exactly what you were doing, because you can no longer do it if you want to stay in power.
Yeah, exactly right. I think that's exactly right. This has been the president's consistent position, which is that they've got an opportunity here. If they want to if they're willing peaceably to give up their nuclear program, if they're willing to come to the table, then the United States is ready to make that happen. If they're not going to do that, then, good luck to them. I mean, they're on their own. The United States is not going to bail them out of anything anymore. This is not a president who's going to send pallets of cash to Iran like Obama did. This is an American president who's going to see to America's interests and
hold on.
Stand by our allies.
Why did Obama send all that cash to Iran? Y'all remember that, right? He had a duffel bag full. I think it was billions, something like that. But yeah, it was for the Iran nuclear deal that they wanted to draft, but it was going to cost X amount of money to do the transaction electronically. So Obama, instead of making the American taxpayers pay millions of dollars in taxes converting our USD, Obama decided to bring a duffel bag like one of them drug dealers. Like the way he hopped off the plane with that bag full of, he looked like a real life nigga. Yeah, that happened.
So, Senator, I know people are looking at this right now saying this is not our fight. Here we are in the Middle East again. But there's some stats that might push back against that. For example, at the very minimum, talking to a lot of officials as well as our brain room, Iran has directly killed 603 Americans. When it comes to the post-war, the post-invasion, and our expedition in Iraq, part of the reason we had trouble in Iraq is because Iran was there, where they were responsible for 17% of all American deaths.
We invaded Iraq. Stupid. I think they forget that. I think they forget that other countries have the right to defend themselves. Yes, the Iraq invasion has been criticized by a lot of Americans. How are you going to use that now as a thing to like get some get back? Remember the Iraq war? They killed like 600 of us. Y'all weren't supposed to be there. Those dead were legitimate targets, invaders. So shut the fuck up.
They also have never been forced to pay for the deaths of the Marines, of 241 Marines in the 1980s, and the Khobar Towers deaths that killed in double figures in 1996. How many more signals do we need to get before we realize they are our enemy and they are our problem too?
Well, they're certainly not our friend. I mean, I think that's pretty clear, Brian, and all the numbers, the stats that the data you've just put out there. And I would say I don't think it's so much about us getting involved in the Mideast. I think this is about the President of the United States saying that we're going to secure this country. We're going to stand by our ally. Iran has an opportunity here to do the right thing, to give up their nuclear program peacefully. That's what the president has pushed for.
It's not going to happen.
I think what the president said is, listen, you're not getting a nuke. I mean, that's just the end of the story. You're not getting a nuke. We can't allow that. We're not going to have it. So it's Iran's call.
Senator, real quick on Medicaid, are you pleased with the way the Senate is handling negotiations?
Yeah, we don't care about Medicaid, but that's the thing. They really believe that anybody who is a non-European ally or Westerner, you're not allowed to have nukes. You're not. You're not. And if you do, then we're going to bomb your ass because we think you're a threat. They don't care. You're a threat. Who told you to get them nukes? Now, Trump, we all heard what Trump said, right? He said straight up, we know where you at. If we want you, we'll get you. Right? Now, we got a response. We got a response from the Ayatollah. After what Trump said, let's see what the Iranian leader said. Let's see, because Trump shouldn't have said what he said. He shouldn't have said, I don't give a shit. You don't have no veiled threat like that to a country's leader and not expect any consequences. No, because that is a threat. That is a terrorist threat, and if somebody said that to our leader, right, we would want them hung, right? That's our leader. You don't fucking threaten our leader. We will want something to happen. So yes, Trump, let's see what this Iranian leader said when you threaten his life.
A terrifying new level today as the Supreme Leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, released a bizarre and ominous image on X, as well as saying, "The battle begins." The chilling warning came after US President Donald Trump demanded Iran surrender unconditionally and announced to the world that he knows where the Ayatollah is, but won't kill him yet. But instead of being intimidated by Trump's rhetoric, the Supreme Leader hit back with threats of his own that have the whole world on edge. The Supreme Leader tweeted a disturbing image of fireballs raging down with a man holding a sword in front of a large entrance to a castle-like structure. He accompanied the image with text saying, "In the name of the noble Haidar, the battle begins," referring to Ali, whom Shia Muslims consider the first Imam and rightful successor to the Prophet Muhammad. Online commentators reacted to the Supreme Leader's callous reaction, with Congressman Ronnie Jackson saying, "The battle begins," says Ayatollah Khamenei. "Bring it," says Ronnie Jackson. "If you injure or kill Americans, you better be ready to die in the process." Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, what's going on? Something happened with the feed.
He agreed, saying the Ayatollah's reign of terror has slaughtered Jews, Americans, and self-designated adulterers by the hundreds of thousands. With nuclear weapons, they could make those numbers seem minuscule. We pray to God to deliver us from a nuclear nightmare. And the people of Iran, whom the Ayatollah rules over, seem to not have much faith in his ability to triumph over the US and Israel, with civilians heeding the advice of Trump and fleeing in their millions.
Donald Trump's ordering the Iranians to surrender unconditionally. Last night, he warned everybody to flee the capital, and now Tehran's a ghost town.
Goddamn.
Surgical strikes target Iranian nuclear scientists and military commanders have taken their toll. Windows have turned to powder, and the lobby of buildings are gone. Overnight, Israel continued to pummel missile and drone infrastructure in the western part of.
That's how Fox News cover it. And then BB come on Fox News and say, hey, we need y'all help. We need y'all help. Fuck.
The country. Tel Aviv says they've destroyed over 120 Iranian missile launchers since Thursday. That's about 40% of their missile capacity. They also took out Iran's top general early this morning. He was only at the job for 4 days after his old boss was executed.
They're precarious.
Exactly. Wait a minute. Whoa. Jesse, you took that shit out of my mouth. I was about to say it. Shit. We say that a lot. We say that a lot. We say, Piers just said it. Piers just said it to Morandi. Oh, Israel just delivered a hell of a blow to your defense. All of your head commanders got killed. So? Like, what makes him think, what makes y'all think, Westerners, us, Americans, us, what makes us think that if we take out a leader, the whole operation's over with? Hey, we killed that general, so we're good. Like, how? There's a lot. See, what people don't understand, there's a lot of generals out there. There's a lot of military IDF soldiers that are coming out right now and speaking up against Benjamin Netanyahu. They don't like what he's doing. They're calling it a genocide. They're saying that it's making the civilians of Israel less safe, right? And then, of course, you got the people that are supporting Benjamin Netanyahu, calling them what is it, disgruntled employees and shit who got fired, yada yada. No. These people can see the writing on the wall. They say, hey, this is a genocide, right? We need to stop. But when these niggas step down or quit because they don't agree with it, there's always some young knucklehead who's ready to take this place. So you can sit back and be like, oh, we killed all their generals. You could probably harm yourself by killing all their, how would you say, less hawkish generals. Some of these generals probably was like on this peaceful diplomatic approach. Now you got this little firecracker that took his position, and he couldn't wait to hit the bomb, hit the button on you niggas since day one. And y'all just admitted it. Jesse just admitted it. Jesse just said, we just killed one of their leaders after he been on the job for 3 days. How is he a leader if he been on the job for 3 days? Meaning, he said it. Oh, his other leader, commander, we killed him. So now he took the position after his leader died. Okay. So you think they're done? You don't think there's like another little leader ready to take his place and his place and his place? Who may be more itching now after witnessing multiple leaders lose their lives? They're probably like, we're going to make that same mistake. What was our leaders doing? Oh, they was a little weak. Okay. We're going to be a little bit more aggressive. So, yeah, I don't think it makes sense when y'all say shit like, oh, we took out the head of whatever. Because, yeah, you're probably hurting yourself. Sorry.
Precarious war of words between Trump and the Ayatollah comes after 6 days of intense exchanging of missiles between Iran and Israel. And despite the Supreme Leader's threat of escalation of the conflict, Trump is standing firm in his threat to decimate Iran if US personnel are harmed. He said the US had nothing to...
Wait. What'd you say? Monkey wrench. Trump knows... Trump has a girlfriend in Canada? Or the Ayatollah leader has a girlfriend in Canada? What are you saying here? Because, remember, Trump just left Canada. Quick. Was that why? Let me know. Because if it's the Ayatollah's girlfriend and she probably had to drop on him, then yes, maybe Trump had to get up out of there. Maybe maybe somebody told Trump not to eat that final dinner.
To do with the attack on Iran tonight. If we are attacked in any way, shape or form by Iran, the full strength and might of the US armed forces will come down on you at levels never seen before. However, we can easily get a deal done between Iran and Israel and end this bloody conflict. And the US has backed this up by beefing up military in the region, according to Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth.
So you're going to be in the Situation Room pretty soon with the president. Is he still aiming for a nuclear deal with the Iranians?
Of course. The president, as he said today, his position has not changed. What you're watching in real time is peace through strength and America first. Our job is to be strong. We are postured defensively in the region to be strong in pursuit of a peace deal. And we certainly hope that's what happens here. America first means we're going to defend American personnel and American interests. So when you see jets and you see air defense assets and counter UAS assets, that's because my job as the Secretary of Defense is to ensure that our people are safe and that we're strong so that we can set the conditions for a deal. And President Trump's made it clear it's on the table. The question is whether Iran will take it.
No. Iran ain't taking shit.
Before you hire...
And y'all know it. Oh, sorry about that. Hold on 1 second. Y'all know Iran ain't taking shit. And that's why y'all scared. But that's why Israel's scared. Because they want Iran to take anything that the administration is going to come to the table with. Because Israel can't handle it. They can't. Now, we can't forget about the shit that Trump started. By bringing all these ICE agents to these American streets, right? He was already playing Colonel, right? He wanted to see. I think this was like the pregame warm-up where he took all his troops, put them on the streets of L.A. Then Greg Abbott asked for a couple of them, so he put a couple of them in Texas. And he was like, all right, y'all did good. Let's have a party. And then he threw a party for them in D.C. Now he's packing them up, sending them to Israel. Well, let's not forget what's been happening on the streets of LA, because this is where it all started. And I guess lately the police have been getting their asses handed to them.
Community outraged after a violent confrontation between armed Border Patrol agents and a man who residents say is a U.S. citizen.
Dozens gathered to protest what they call unnecessary force without due process. It happened in the parking lot of a Walmart shopping center in Pico Rivera and was caught on camera by several of the bystanders who tried to intervene.
KTLA's Carlos Salcedo live in Pico Rivera with more of that video and now reaction from community members. Carlos.
Yeah, well, the public outcry has been widespread. Hundreds of protesters have marched throughout Pico Rivera. Even at this hour, take a look here. There's about 200 protesters still at this intersection, many of them waving flags and signs. Now, most of them have been...
It's a prosthetic. It's a prosthetic eye, not a glass. It's yeah, prosthetic. It's made out of porcelain. Made out of porcelain. The same shit your toilet's made out of. That way it won't get all corroded and shit. But yes.
Been peaceful, things getting a bit rowdy within the last hour though. Some people setting off fireworks, illegal fireworks. Tonight though, their message is clear. They want ICE out of their community. They want ICE out of Pico Rivera, especially after what unfolded out here earlier.
Yes.
A tense confrontation
Bullshit
between Border Patrol agents
So
and
look
a
at this
20-year-old man in Pico Rivera.
Hold on.
Adrian Andrew Martinez was on a lunch break working at the nearby Walmart when video shows him standing up to agents who appeared infuriated. Backup arrives and armed agents swarm Adrian, taking him down. His family told KTLA that Adrian was detained after he intervened, allegedly assaulting an agent who was questioning someone else at the shopping center.
They tried to take the janitor or something. That's what I heard. But I heard that he tried defending the janitor they tried taking.
His friend, who did not want to be identified, says he's a U.S. citizen. Soon after, protesters took to the streets, marching from City Hall to the intersection of Washington and Rosemead, demanding ICE out of Pico Rivera.
This is not the country that we live in. This is not what we represent, and we're desperate. They're pushing us to the edge, and we're trying to keep everybody safe and peaceful.
Protesters want city leaders to step up for the undocumented community.
That's what they're trying to do. They want the community to act out, just like what's going on in Israel with the Israel-Iranian conflict. Bibi, or Benjamin Netanyahu, is using American soldiers as human shields. Benjamin Netanyahu hopes that the soldiers that are in the proximity of Iran will be a threat to Iran, and Iran will attack them first in some sort of preemptive strike, and then America would have to respond. We will have to. We will have no choice, right? Same thing. These ICE agents, they're going out there, snatching people up, innocent people, American citizens. They have masks on their face. And as soon as one of these ICE agents get they issue, oh, it's a wrap. Martial law. Cool. We lost an ICE agent. Can't have that. That's what they're trying to do. They want one of these ICE agents to get seriously hurt. That way they can really police these streets.
We have been, for the past few weeks, putting information out on our social media platforms on how our residents and our immigrant community can get access to resources and help.
The Trump administration says its, quote, lawful raids will continue throughout greater LA as it ramps up deportations in blue cities, and that agents are targeting criminals.
That's not true.
They're getting everybody. They're singly targeting people that are at car washes, that are working.
That's what they'll do. They'll try to use martial law.
Ice creams, etc. It's not just criminals.
Residents in this working class Hispanic community say they will resist the ongoing ICE raids.
We were granted a very special opportunity from our parents, right? My family is immigrants, and stripping other kids from that just feels immorally wrong.
And I just got off the phone with Adrian's mother. She tells me that she has yet to hear from her son at all. She knows that he's in federal custody, but at this hour, she doesn't know where he's being detained. That's the latest from Pico Rivera, Carlos Salcedo.
That's crazy. That's crazy. She don't know where her son is being detained. How scary is that? And we have a lot of stories like that where ICE agents are just snatching people up, taking them wherever, deporting some of them, and they ain't never been to that country. There's this one guy, he's an American citizen. ICE agent took his ID and still haven't given it to him. Still haven't given it back to him. So this is one thing that's just, you know, something that we have to pay attention to. I got brothers out there, black folks and sisters that believe that this isn't our fight. They believe that, oh, black folks should stay out of the ICE situation. No. I think we all need to stick together. I don't even think it's a immigration thing. I think it's more of a human versus establishment thing. Because you had a lot of people, a lot of black folks, Hispanics, whites, Asians, a Samoan lost his life. Got shot because of a protester who had a rifle and one of the so-called peacekeepers wanted to save the day. So yes, this movement is not just pro-Hispanic. No, it's anti-establishment. And I think everybody should be on board. Everybody should be on board. So going back to, going back to the Ayatollah. We at their page. Hold on. I want to see some shit. This was an hour ago because I'm about to go live. I want to see some live footage from Israel. They said, this is an hour ago. How does it feel? How does it feel? They got a Palestinian sitting here, just sitting on rubble, looking at an Israeli stressed out, sitting on rubble, and he asking him straight up, how do you feel? How you feel? Straight up. Like, y'all know why we doing this. Y'all know why this is happening. Don't play dumb. So let's see if we got some latest attacks. I don't see any latest attack. We seen this one. All right, so cool. We don't have any latest attacks. Maybe we'll see that tomorrow in the morning or something. But nothing right now. Nothing right now. But I do want to make sure that there's live footage, because we do got live footage. We do got live footage of Tel Aviv. And Tel Aviv does look a little bit peaceful. We're going to make sure that it's still peaceful because I think it's morning time. Is it morning time over there? I don't know what time is it. Hold on. Let's see. Let's ask Google. Let's see. Let's ask Google. Let's ask Google. What time is it in Tel Aviv, Israel? It is 10 a.m. It's 10 a.m. in the morning. Let's see if that correlates with this video here. Hold on 1 second. Let's see if this correlates. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, y'all.
Okay, let me just split screen this using the
10 o'clock in the morning in Tel Aviv right now. Hold on. Because supposedly they were supposed to be having some rounds of attack last night. And, Well, did this camera move? Because I remember there was a big old building right here to the left. Is that building no longer, or did this camera move over a little bit? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it moved over a little bit. Hold on. Maybe it moved. Because I want to say that building was somewhere. Oh, you can't see my. Yeah, it was right here, lower left. Lower left. We're going to give it about 3.5 seconds. Or let's give it about 10 seconds to see if something come in. This is live footage of Tel Aviv, y'all. Live footage. Hold on. So yeah, man, this conflict is getting crazier and crazier by the second. I think the media is not doing any service, no justice to the people in Israel, because if they are hurt, there's a lot of media out here that is pretending like it's not really that big of a deal. It's not too much shit going on out there in Israel. Oh, hold on. Uh-oh, we got some news. Hold on, let's see. We got some news. Let's see. It says, Iran has more missiles than Israel has interceptors. Uh-oh. Oh, that won't be good, Israel. That won't be good. If you guys don't have enough interceptors for all these ballistic missiles, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Jew? What are you going to do? Tell me. Hold on 1 second.
For days, Israel's defenses have largely held up against Iran's missile attacks. But there's a growing concern that Israel is burning through its defensive weapons.
No. Uh-oh.
And its Arrow interceptors, which play a key role in taking out Iran's ballistic missiles, are in short supply, according to a U.S. official.
Whoa! Don't tell nobody.
The United States, which has been helping Israel shoot down threats, is also expending its munitions.
The THAAD?
The U.S. official and analysts familiar with the numbers say that Iran has more missiles than Israel and the U.S. have.
Oh no, she's pro-Hamas.
Raising concerns about Israel's ability to defend itself long term. So here's what the interceptor shortfall means for Israel, its allies, and the broader Middle East.
Destruction.
Israel uses different systems to provide a multi-layered defense of its airspace. The Arrow 3 is considered the crown jewel of this network. With a range of about 1,500 miles, the Arrow 3 is used to counter long-range ballistic missiles, including those that fly above the Earth's atmosphere. Arrow 3 has been critical in countering attacks from Iran and Yemen, and it can intercept threats before they cross into Israel's airspace. The Arrow 2, an older version of the system, is also used to intercept short to medium-range ballistic missiles. Then there's David Sling, primarily used to counter medium-range ballistic missiles, among other threats. And finally, the Iron Dome, which is used to shoot down short-range threats like rockets from Gaza. Experts say the Iron Dome is not playing a major role in this current conflict with Iran, and that the Arrow systems and David Sling have been key. Even though some missiles have slipped through, Israel's layered defense has proven to be extremely effective.
Where's the David Sling and Iron
Israel
Dome?
says its interception rate for ballistic missiles is about 90%. And of the 370 missiles fired by Iran in recent days, about 30 have made an impact as of June 17th.
We don't believe
But
it.
as Tom Carrico, the director of the Missile Defense Project at CSIS, put it to me, the capability is not the question. It's the capacity that matters.
Right.
And capacity could be a huge problem because arrows play a...
I remember last time Iran did this shit, they literally sent over 1 million flares. Y'all think I'm bullshitting. These motherfuckers, Iran, the last time Israel had killed a leader, actually killed them in Iran during the inauguration. Oh, yeah. Iran responded. And they responded by sending a whole bunch of ballistic flares that kind of like blew up in the sky on its own. And they said that the amount of interceptors that were used to put out these flares, I think it ranged to like, what, hundreds of millions of dollars just for that one operation. Iran sent in maybe $1 million worth of firecrackers, and they were taken down by hundreds of millions of dollars worth of interceptors. Oh my God. So yes, it's not far-fetched that Iran is holding the big shit for later. Because I did hear that in one of these recent attacks, they let off all their old shit to get smacked by the Israeli interceptors. And then as those old shit was getting blown out the sky, all them new shits was coming down, smacking. Ugh.
Key role in shooting down not just Iran's ballistic missiles, but also threats from Iranian proxy groups like the Houthis in Yemen. In a statement, the Israeli Defense Forces said the IDF is prepared and ready to handle any scenario. Unfortunately, we are unable to comment on matters related to munitions. Israel doesn't talk about how many interceptors it has, because if its enemies knew that number, they would know how many missiles to fire at the country. The company that makes the Arrow interceptors, IAI, did not respond to requests for comment. Back in December...
Hey, that's good information. So Monkey Wrench said that Iran plans on shutting down one of the oil refineries, one of the 5, right? Is that what's going on? Now, we all understand this oil play, right? Because that's what most of us, I'm 40, this is how we grew up, right? A lot of my moms and dads and parents and friends' parents, all their tax money was going to the Iraq war because of oil, right? We that's just what it was. We get it. So today's me. Oh yeah, I was prepared for this. So I got a lot of ExxonMobil calls and IMPP contracts and some spy puts. And I want to ride this crash down and oil up. Yes.
Israel's defense ministry struck a deal with IAI to make more Arrow 3 interceptors.
However, think about this. Iran is the leading oil manufacturer, right. That's how they get their motherfucker. Petrol's a hell of a thing, y'all. Well, if y'all don't understand what these presidents did when they took us off the gold standard and put us on this oil standard and that petrodollar and all this shit, when Venezuela was dealing with FDR and they made this currency for the United States citizens to have their money tracked on Venezuelan oil right after the 1930 depression. That's some other stuff that we'll get into. But if you're fighting a country who controls the oil and you need oil to fight said country, maybe this move that Monkey Wrench just provided to the chat don't have to be verified. It would be common sense that would be a strategic move to get the upper hand on Israel and America, because we need their oil. We need it, or else it's going to cost them a pretty fucking penny to keep this shit
Arrows
going.
are complex missiles that cost more than $2 million a piece and take time to produce. Analysts say, in general, defensive weapons are harder and more expensive to make than offensive weapons because they have to be more sophisticated and more precise than the missiles they're designed to take out. Plus, in some cases, you have to fire several interceptors in order to neutralize a missile. That's why Israel has been focused on taking out Iran's missile and drone capabilities on the ground during its aerial campaign. The IDF says it has dismantled more than 1/3 of Iran's missile launchers.
Yeah. So they're cutting off oil to America.
But Iran has still been able to launch volleys of missiles at Israel. The United States, aware of Israel's interceptor capacity issues for months, has been augmenting the country's defenses.
We are full of gratitude and thanks for the defensive systems that the United States has put in play.
There's the ground-based THAAD system, which can intercept missiles inside or outside the atmosphere. And the U.S. has sent Navy ships into the region, which can counter missiles with SM-2, SM-3, and SM-6 interceptors. Plus, fighter jets can shoot down drones, missiles, and other threats.
And I can say with authority that they have saved hundreds, perhaps thousands of lives over the past 4 days since Iran has been firing these ballistic missiles into our population centers.
But U.S. interceptors aren't unlimited either. For example, defense documents show that the U.S. has only procured about 600 THAAD interceptors to date. So what does all of this mean for the current conflict in the Middle East?
We're not looking for a ceasefire. I didn't say I was looking for a ceasefire.
All right, well,
remember, Iran cannot have.
Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. Since Monkey Rich came with the information, let's see what will happen if they shut it down. Right? Let's see what happens if Iran shut down the Hormuz. Did I say that right? Hormuz. Uh-oh. Ah, there was talk 22 hours ago talking about cutting off the Hormuz pipeline. I don't think I said that right at all. Oh, at all. Hold on one second. Let's see. Hold on. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. All right.
Is one of the most vital shipping arteries in the world. Stretching just 55 kilometers between Iran and Oman, a fifth of the world's oil and gas pass through this narrow waterway, some 18 to 19 million barrels a day. Due to its economic importance, the strait has often been a hotspot for geopolitical tensions, with Iran repeatedly threatening its closure over the years. But any blockade of the trade route would spell significant consequences for Iran. Such a move would almost certainly invoke retaliation from the United States, which has naval military assets in the region. It would also complicate Iran's access to commercial goods and risk alienating Iran's foreign partners like China, which import significant amounts of Iranian oil.
No, it won't.
The closure
Stop
of the
it.
Strait of Hormuz would also be bad news for the world economy. Global oil
Yep,
prices would
that's it.
spike, and Europe could face energy shortages, especially in countries dependent on Middle Eastern fuel.
Yep.
It would also disrupt industries across Europe, including manufacturing, transport, and agriculture, but also delay imports of raw materials and consumer goods.
That's true.
But analysts say that closing such a key shipping route would be near impossible under international law, as a UN convention stipulates that Hormuz is an international strait where the right of transit cannot be suspended.
Wait a minute. Oh, hey, here we go. That's what I'm talking about. American hubris. What makes you think y'all can do all this shit, threaten the leader, and they can't shut down their fucking access point? What is going on with y'all? What makes y'all think? Oh, hey, hold on. What's that? What makes y'all think that we got that much power over the world that everybody got to bow down to us or else, bro? If they shut it down, that's gonna be a